Jeremy Knight with the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. I look pale as a ghost today. Sorry about that. Okay, we have one hell of a show for you tonight. I am super excited. I have an amazing cast of characters tonight, and we are going to talk about moving to Texas, specifically Austin, in 2021. What the hell is going on in this market? You are going to get the chance to peek behind the curtain. This is what I'm so excited about this. I've been excited all week. Viewers that have been on the other side of this channel for weeks and weeks and weeks are on this side this week. So you get to talk to people who've been in your position, chat in the chat boxes for the last few weeks. You get to talk to them and ask them their experience about moving to Austin during this crazy, crazy time where it's like moving from where they moved. We'll let them talk about where they moved from, i.e. California, winky wink. But this is very exciting. So I got some great guests today. I do have some pretty cool announcements to make. So all of you like my friends, Ian and Kevin, it's been apparent. So, and some of you have asked about merchandise. So here's something exciting. We have come up with a podcast, the three of us, called Real Migos. It will start next Tuesday, Real Migos. It'll be on this live stream. You don't have to go anywhere for it. It'll be here. We're going to download the audio, put it on a podcast for you so you can share it that way or see it that way. I just brought on an editor. Very excited. Their first video is going to be out Saturday. So our Tuesday videos are now Saturdays, live stream staying Tuesdays, just because there's nothing going on Tuesdays except for all of this entertainment. So here we go for that. We are working on merch. If you want Real Migos merch, it's going to have, I think the idea for the cup is to have a mullet as the handle. We're going to have Ian's hat as the, it's like a lid. And then my face, you know, I guess, I don't know. We haven't gotten that far, but really excited about that stuff. So here we go. Oh, the comments are going up. Dinosaur D, welcome back, man. I am so happy to see you. I've got popcorn ready, waiting for the premiere of Lord of Real Estate Fellowship of Austin to start. Here's the exciting thing, Dinosaur D. So you're going to get to talk to people that have been in your position, right? Sitting where you are, commenting. I'm really excited about that. They're going to talk about their experience buying in the Austin market right now. You get to hear on a weekly basis Ian and Kevin and I and other agents bloviate about this stupid market, right? How stupid it is. You get to hear from the people that have actually written the contracts, gone through the headache, driven around for hours, waited for hours in line, building properties. So you get to see all of that cool stuff. Jeremy, I got my sister Katie totally hooked on your channel. Matt, I love you, man. Thank you so much for that. Can you give her a shout out in Centerville, Ohio? Now we're doing shout outs on my channel. I love it. Katie in Centerville, Ohio. Hello from Austin, Texas, the beautiful state of Austin. State of Austin. I said that correct because Texas is just around us. Moved here from DC. Hello. Poppy Jeremy, I'm going to love that. I'll take that. I'll take that. All right. So we got some great guests. I'm going to bring them on here in a second. I'm super excited. These guys are pretty cool. I won't tell you if they worked with me as clients or not. That's up to them to tell you what they did. But I can tell you these guys have had quite an experience buying the Austin market. I'm super excited for them. A foreign story. I need to talk to you. I live in Fairfax and want to move. Well, my information is on the channel. Reach out. All right, so here we go. Let's bring out the gents. Oh, yeah, I guess I got to add y'all. There you go. Okay, so up in the top corner, we got Damien, one of my favorites. Look how good you look. And you're wearing a chili pepper shirt, too? I love it. I love it. We got Mr. Adi Rowe, vocalist. Look at this guy. He's got his own tags. You can find him at adivocals.com. And my main man, Joel. How are y'all?
Do well.
So I'm going to allow you all to enter. Hold on one second. Oh, the unofficial sponsor of tonight's video is Treaty Oak Distillery. Treaty Oak, if you'd like to sponsor the cast, actually Treaty Oak has actually asked me to come out and do a video with them. So we'll maybe make that happen. This light's killing me. All right, light's gone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to let you introduce yourselves. We'll start with Damien and work our way around the circle. Tell us about yourself and what part of town you moved into and why. Start with you, Damien.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy, for having me. Super pumped to be here and be able to give some feedback on my experience. So my name is Damien. My accent might throw me off here, but I'm French and Canadian. So bonjour aux Français qui nous regardent. We never know. And so I moved in Austin almost a year ago from California, although I'm not a Californian, but I lived there 3 years. And I just found Jeremy Knight, spoiler alert, found the perfect home for me and my wife in Southwest Austin. We're super happy. We just moved in 2 weeks ago, and it's been a roller coaster of emotion, and we'll talk more about that, but super happy for making the choice to go with Jeremy.
Awesome. Well, yeah, this isn't a ploy to work with me, everyone. I'm gonna let these guys talk about their experience. You can choose to work with me if you want. You also got some really cool guys that I've dropped, cool guys and ladies that I brought on the channel. So up to you. Okay, Joel, let's talk about you, man. And that beautiful, look at that beautiful beard. Go for it, man. Oh man, look at this. I'm the only one that'll be here. Hold on, guys. All right, guys, continue, Joel.
Yeah, perfect. My name's Joel, obviously. My wife and I had actually been looking at the Austin market for close to 2 years. And as time's going on, you know, you're wondering when the right time is to go. Eventually, you know, after looking and finding both Jeremy's videos and several other content creators about Austin, we decided to take a trip out there. We specifically went in August because we wanted to experience the heat. We want to see, hey, what are we up against? And I feel like we got the easiest of the days. I think it was the first day they broke 99 from the triple digits. But the following day, we actually toured some homes with Eileen, Jeremy's better half. And we had thought we were going to be Leander, Cedar Park area. But I'm glad we came because we fell in love, you know, with the hill country, with Bee Cave. And it was, no matter all the other places that we saw, we just kept coming back. And it took us all but 48 hours to figure out what we wanted to do. So it's been a roller coaster. It's been a little bit tough because we decided to build. That's a different beast altogether. But we're already in a position to sell our house in Los Angeles, and decided to, you know, move out here and rent until that is complete.
So you're out here. So you're building though. So we have Damien, who came in during the hottest freaking time. I mean, Damien, you actually got lucky because we put in some offers for that guy, and we ran around town like crazy. But this market now is totally different from where we closed 2 weeks ago, my friend. So kudos to you. But Joel, you're building. What's the experience like right now building?
You know, I think part of it was relying on the wisdom of what Eileen was, you know, showing us, the builders she was introducing us to. We got a good feel for the few that we had talked to. I think the big seller for us is we found a plan that we liked. We found a builder that we liked, you know, construction tech that they utilize, along with, we found a location and a view that was, we couldn't pass up. So, so far it's been good.
Okay, cool. Mr. Adiro, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. For all these days, you know me, you messed up my last name.
Man, you gotta understand, I've already had 4 sips of this stuff. So, all right. So, Adi, tell us your name, story, and what's going on with you.
Hey,
beautiful
everyone,
house, by the way.
What's that?
Beautiful house, by the way.
Thanks. I wonder who told it to us. Hey, everyone, my name is Adi Rao, not Ro.
Rao, sorry, my bad, man.
All good.
Yeah, I had a little Corona in my cough. See, I did it. I just spent like 10 minutes telling everybody not to say the bad word. And I just did it. Sorry.
I didn't want to call you out.
My bad. So they get to all whip me after this. Go ahead.
I don't know why you put beer in your coffee.
Yeah.
I'm Adi Rao. My wife and I moved to Round Rock back in December. We started searching for homes basically in May from our rented home in Pasadena, California. last year. We initially, this was our first house, so we were thinking, okay, similar story to a lot of first-time home buyers. We wanted to purchase a home and not kind of just flush the money down by paying rent. So we started, talking to banks in California, and I got really excited because they gave us a whole $500,000. So I was like, all right, $500,000 is not a bad deal in California. Let's start looking around. We looked all over LA County, through Pasadena, went all the way down to Orange County, and still couldn't afford what we were looking for. So we had very specific needs as to the type of space, and we can't share walls because I'm a musician and I do a lot of my recording work at my house. So I didn't want to pay $550,000 to $600,000 and still be sharing a wall while I'm recording all my stuff at home. So then my parents had moved to the Austin area just the previous year, so back in 2019. So we started kind of perusing the whole country and seeing, if there were a couple cities that we really liked. And then my wife started searching for homes in the Austin area, and at the time, this was May. So last year's impediment was just beginning to happen, and the market wasn't too sure as to how it's going to turn, so it wasn't as crazy as what it is right now. So for the money that we wanted to invest in, we could get a lot. So that's when we reached out to Jeremy Knight. We found his YouTube channel, started talking to him, and really just kept touch with him from like May all the way through September, which is when we drove down from California to just stay at our parents' place and stay here until we found a home that we liked. And that really didn't happen until the end of November, and the contract had a 45-day close, so we didn't get the house until December 17th. So it was a really long road, but I'm here, we're here, and we're really loving it.
Awesome, man. All right, so for everybody concerned about Mullet Man and Ian, they're sitting in the back end right now. Don't worry, they're coming on. We got it. Don't you want to hear from other people than those yahoos? Come on, man, you're killing me. Come on, man. All right. Yeah. See, again, the same thing. Joel, the question for you is, where are you building? I don't know if you want to give out that information. So his address is.
Yeah, I mean, they're working on into the new phase. We decided to go down Hamilton Pool Road off of the Province. So that is just south of Bee Cave. I think it's still technically Austin, not Bee Cave, but all the school districts, everything else, it's all going to be right there. It's Lakeside ISD and all that stuff. So, it's crazy how fast that filled up. We got in we were starting the process about when they were just about midway through. And I had a friend of mine who actually was buying the house 2 over from me, and he was, I think, the last person in. And he was like, no, I'm going to wait. And I looked at him and said, you don't have time. You're either going to do it or it's not going to happen.
So that's a really good point. So you ended up doing new build, but for everybody else, how crazy was the market for you buying when you did? I'll start with you, Damian.
Oh yeah, sure, no worries. I think I was kind of like Addy. You mentioned you had that big buck of money, and you were like, okay, cool, that's a very decent budget. And first for California, then you quickly saw that nope, not doable. We had the same issue as you, and we tried to find something. So later on, decided to move to Austin. But when we arrived here, we didn't expect that craziness. And when I say that, I think we had a decent budget to start with, some kind of the same area that you had, about I think a little less actually, but 450 or so. And we're like, okay, it's gonna be okay. We're moving away from the craziness. We see so many options on Trulia, on Zillow, everywhere we look around, and we're like, there's so many neighborhoods, we're good. And when we started to talk to Jeremy and Eileen, when we first connected, they were like, yeah, maybe not. And I was like, well, maybe, he's playing the card that it's hard to find, blah, blah, blah. We're like, okay. But when we started, popping up to houses for just see something, we saw that there was lineups. There were like already like 10, 15, 20 offers on a property. And definitely, I don't know. I started looking in December and January, and to be honest, we didn't expect that many people. And it was not already a common thing. Now everybody talks about the hotness of the Austin market, but like back in November, December, it was not actually still a thing, at least not for us when we started looking. So we didn't expect that. We didn't expect having those crazy lineups and multiple offers, and it's been it's been quite surprising.
Yeah, and I think that so the reason why I decided to bring on these three gentlemen, and I just want people to understand, was not for me to like get you to work with me. Not the point. All three of these families have all gone through different experiences coming out in this market. So my biggest concern for most people that are trying to come out in this market right now, or that contact me or anyone, is that they don't understand this market. And it takes writing an offer, losing one or two to be like, oh crap. I have so many people call me like, oh, I'm used to this market. I'm in the Seattle market. I'm in the LA market. So let me ask you that. So that mentality, right? I've seen the LA market. How would you compare this to the LA market, or what you saw as far as having to put in offers and run around? I'll let whoever wants to go first, just raise your hand. This is a free for all.
I wasn't too sure about how contract writing in the LA market was going to be. We were working with an agent over there who was showing us properties for that, $525 to $550 budget. I know it sounds like it's a lot of money, but over there it doesn't get you that far. And we weren't even looking at like hot areas, amazing neighborhoods. We were looking in the Orange County area, but it wasn't like the amazing part of Orange County, or like the beach side of Orange County, or anything like that. So the contract process over there, I think, honestly, I think it would have been a little more simple compared to what the Austin market was for us. We had lost 2 major offers on 2 homes that we absolutely loved before we found this house that we also absolutely loved. But like, I don't think we're ready to. I don't think anyone was like able to comprehend what was happening back in October, November, December. Even realtors, Jeremy included. It was so new for everyone in this industry, and on the business side with realtors. Like when we asked certain questions, they didn't have the answers, because it had never happened before. So it was frustrating for everyone. Like we didn't know if this was going to get through or not, or what these sellers were going to look for. So two of the houses that we lost offers to, they were a combination of like cash offers, or they were a combination of people bidding like $50,000 and above over list price, and also paying for things like HOA and all those other things that usually the seller should be paying for. So we understood that we had to get really, really creative in order to win over someone. And it's never black and white right now in my mind, because you could be offering the same amount of money as 10 other people. It may be the highest offer, but they probably have at least 7 other offers right at your price point. And then there are like some intangibles that they consider, which somehow ends up, having them be able to pick a winner. It's such a game.
And here's the thing: being on the listing side, one thing people used to do and were told to do was to put out those letters about yourself. Right? Who we are and all that. And I've done that a lot for our clients. There was just a notice that came out to agents. I want to say it was 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, that basically said you are violating fair housing laws by writing these offers. Because like, if you let's say, you're a minority and you put, your picture on there and you don't get it. And then that seller then that buyer has the opportunity to come back and say, hey, you did it because I was a minority. Right. So that's why, like, they were saying, hey, if you're talking about your, we want to do Christmas in the house, it talks about your faith. Right. So that, like, realtor.com put out a pretty good breakdown of that article and what they meant by that article. But that's that's one of those things. So, I always tell my sellers, I always say, hey, look, if we're going to get these letters, it's up to you to see these letters. So exactly what you said, there's such a hard thing for us to say where you should write an offer. We can only do so much as far as like I know on our end, like I'm literally writing a contract. As we were getting this together, I'm writing a contract, and the agent was like, I haven't seen my email, so I don't know where offers are at. So you're blindly putting in offers, $130,000 over list price, $150,000 over list price. That's where they are right now. Damien, what was your experience as far as writing over list price offers? Were you running into the same thing, putting over list price offers, and like, were you going super crazy where you weren't comfortable? What was that like for you? Because I know we put in quite a few offers, and we did a lot of work.
Yeah, we had 3 offers before we got the right one. The 4th one was the right one. I remember the first one was in South Austin. I think the list price was $465, and we were like, okay, we want to go all crazy, and we're gonna offer $485, something like that. So 20 over, and like we had no chance. We're not even in the top 10. And then we bumped up. So second offer, I think it was 505, and we said we'll go 580, something like that. Still was not in the top 10. And I think I remember this one being actually an offer cash. So we're not even competing because we're not buying cash. So we were like, okay, this is not going to work. We were very, very discouraged, and we thought we're never going to be able to do it. And so I think the last offer we did for this house, when you were talking about 130, 140 over, we just, worked the numbers, and we ended up, I think this was 475 listed at, and we ended up putting 600.
Oh, sorry, I removed you from the screen. Sorry, my bad. Wrong click.
Wow.
Wrong click.
No worries. But yeah, so, and when you think about it, it's crazy, because when you see list price, you say, okay, 475, 500. Okay, I'll put 20, 30K, which is already a lot of money, right? And and no, you won't be. So my tip to people when they're searching for houses now in the market, it's probably worse now, is when you see a $500,000 house, you already count 20% more than that if you want to be competing in the offers. So it just went crazy.
And that's a good thing to talk about too. Joel, you didn't do. I mean, you did new build. Did you doing new build? The price that you don't have to say the price you end up paying, but the price that you had in mind for what you were going to buy versus your final price, even for new build, was that the same price, or was it much higher than you anticipated?
We probably came in, I would say 50 to 75 over where I thought we would finish. That's, you had done a really good video in terms of design choices and how that there's a lot of catch there, because you don't know what the absolute price is going to be, because you don't know what all the choices you're going to make during that process. But, by the time we arrived to that point, we knew roughly where our mark was. We only went a little bit above that. So we did pretty well in keeping that in line. But that said, it was a little bit easier just because we got to go through that process. We got to set aside kind of an expectation without having to compete in where that market turned into the following months thereafter. By the time we had moved out here, I had told my wife, I said, this is nuts. I don't even know that we would have done this or been able to do this. Maybe we would, but in the same manner, had we waited even just a few months.
Do you think, so this is a good question by Master Jedi, and he's asked a couple questions so far. Master Jedi, hello. Welcome back. That's my best Star Wars impersonation. And by the way, Joel, you were told earlier you're already texting by your background, so that's nice. So look, guys, if you see a really cool comment on here, feel free to be like, wait, hold up. I love this comment. Can we jump in on it? So don't hesitate. This is a free-for-all. Look, we have fun on this channel, so have fun. All right. But new build, are you finding, Joel, you did a new build, where your expectation for new build, is it longer than you anticipated, or are you running into delays with certain things because of lumber and stuff like that?
So far, the only delay that we've run into outside of the snowpocalypse, it's it's really just making sure that you hit your meetings on time, that you're available for that. If you're trying to do this out of state and do that process, then be ready to fly in and be there, because it's just going to move it along faster. Trying to do that over the phone was just, we looked at that and went, no, we were in the process again of selling our house. We thought about renting in LA before we had moved out here, but the thought of trying to do that remotely was just untenable at that point. And we were eager to get out of that market anyways.
You brought up a really great point, Joel. So here's the thing. A lot of people look for everyone that's watching this. I have a list of questions that we were supposed to ask everyone, and we have not asked a single one. Just so you know how this is so off the cuff and natural. All right. Here's a good question for all of you. So in the buying process, when you're buying out here, what was your experience as far as, do you think you need to be here in person? Can you do it online? Right. So can you do the video? Because I've had plenty of clients that have done the video thing, right? Do you think, so all of you have different experiences, right? Do you think it's better for somebody to come out here and maybe rent for like 3 months, which is my recommendation to most people? Get like a 6-month lease, not a 12, like a 3-6 month lease. This is my recommendation. But for you trying to buy out of state, is it easier to be here in person?
Mm-hmm.
I've totally botched this whole question. I'm telling you, this Treadio got me great. So is it easier to be here in person, or what do you think about doing online, and how did that work for you? And what was your experience? We'll start with Adi, because he was not here.
Yeah. I mean, my wife and I are kind of the people where, like, if we find something on Facebook Marketplace, we got to go see it in person first before we buy it. So we definitely knew that in the end we were going to come look at the place before we put in an offer. That was back in May. But we didn't know how to get to Austin given times at the time back in May. So we started looking around. We had multiple conversations with Jeremy. We started understanding the map of Austin. We understood what everyone meant by saying, North Austin, South Austin, north of Austin, south of Austin, east of 35, west of 35. There's a whole bunch of stuff, that was just so colloquial that we needed to understand it. So once we got a really good understanding of the map of Austin. So if someone said Pflugerville, or if someone said Leander, or if someone said Circle C, we kind of knew like where from the center of Austin each of those areas were. But there was no way for us to really understand if we would have liked the area, if we liked the vibe, the community, and what it had to offer, until we came to basically physically sit in a car, drive around, understand like what the shops are like, what the people are like, what you can do outside, and how the activities are. Is it noisy because you have a highway 3 or 4 miles away from you? That may seem like a really far away deal, but sometimes when the air is really still, you may hear the highway. So like things like that you don't really think about until you come here in person, and Mullet Man has arrived. When you come here in person and check out the area. So it's a good exercise to understand the map of Austin and kind of get an idea as to where the houses are available on the map. But you have to come and see it, because we fell in love with a house. The very first house that we fell in love with while in California was in Pflugerville. It was a beautiful house. My wife and I were like, all right, let's just have them right on. Let's go. I was lucky quite well. Yeah, I was lucky because my parents lived here. They drove to Pflugerville, saw the house. The house is great. It sort of didn't check off the boxes for the types of communities that we were looking for, the types of trails, and all that stuff that we were looking for. Not to say that Pflugerville doesn't have any of those things, but with respect to where the house was, it was too far away from everything that we were looking to do. But we didn't understand that. When my parents said, Pflugerville is almost an hour from Leander, I looked at the map and I'm like, there's no way this is going to take an hour, because I did the whole, like, I live in California. I know what takes an hour. I know sometimes it takes an hour to cover 7 miles or 8 miles, but like, it's very different when you come here and check out the areas.
So sorry to cut you off, but Dinosaur D, yes, I bought an investment property in South Padre. Somebody called me today and was like, "Holy crap, you bought an investment property in South Padre? Did you hear about Boca Chica?" I'm like, "Yeah, I already got 6. Don't worry about it." All right, Joel. So you bought a house new build. What was your experience? Do you recommend coming out and actually seeing things and being here in person, or just doing it straight online?
No, I mean, I'll tell you, being here, it changed our mind. The first day that we got out of here, we just hopped in the car, started driving around, and we spent a good 4 or 5 hours touring around the different areas. And I'm glad we did, because by the following day when we were going to go look, we thought we were going to be Leander, Cedar Park area. That was kind of the vibe that we initially were thinking. We found some really good locations up there. But we would just initially, that time that we came out, we were still in that mode of, hey, let's just check things out. We weren't ready to put in an offer. It wouldn't take long, but we didn't have the pre-approval, any of that stuff done to actually go see the houses, be ready to put in an offer at that time. So we changed plans that morning and went around Dripping Springs, went Bee Cave and a few other places that we knew that we had already liked. And the more that we kept coming back to it, Adi's right. We had visited throughout the area from like Hill Country to like the gallery up there and all the other shops. We had kind of toured around that a little bit the day prior and felt really good about that in terms of what we had access to. We still wanted to be about a half an hour outside of Austin. We weren't looking to be Austin proper. And we got to Dripping Springs, and I looked at Eileen and I said, "We want to be out of Austin, but I feel like we're really far out of Austin."
Oh, you just offended Kevin.
Yeah, I know.
Kevin's a Dripping Springs guy.
But I really did like the area. In terms of what we were looking for specifically for the next 10 to 15 years of our life.
For sure.
Bee Cave kind of hit all those marks that we were looking for, and we were pleasantly surprised. And because it's one thing to look at it on, Google Maps and go, okay, yeah, I see in relation to where things are. But you just don't know. And it's a feeling, and you have to be there to really know, because the moment that you're going to buy sight unseen, it's not going to be but a few years that you're going to be like, man, I really wish I would have bought that house over there in that community. Yeah. That's where I want to be.
Yeah. So Damien, you're kind of unique because you moved out here when we're renting, right? And we were able to go out pretty much. The crazy thing about Damien is like I would text Damien at 1 o'clock and be like, all right, 3 o'clock, we're looking at this house, right? That's how aggressive we were with this market. And we would take it. If he liked it, we wrote an offer. If not, I mean, am I right?
Yeah. And we were panicking when we were trying to visit on weekends, because like arriving to a house on a Saturday or a Sunday and you see 20 people lining up, we're like, okay, never again. We want to take our time. We don't want to be rushed to do it. So every time we had a time slot that would fit everybody, well, okay, let's go. I had to juggle with work and everything to make it work, but in the end, it really paid off. So that's another advice is like, it's not everybody can do it, but if you can, try to do that on a weekday, because weekends it's insane and it gets so frustrating and you kind of get anxious because you see 20 people and everybody's looking at each other. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna put an offer. Oh, is they gonna put an offer? Because it's a nice property. And it makes you sweat. You're like, okay, this is insane, and kind of put you in a mood where you don't want to be. So advice, mornings and try to be very, very reactive. So we got lucky, Jeremy and I. You were either you or your colleague will come up and help us out. But that's something we want to do. And one thing I want to add is true that we rented here so we arrived in May last year, and we rented at the Domain because this is close to my work. And we were like, okay, we're gonna visit and see a bit. So we really like Cedar Park, like Joe. We really like the neighborhood. We love the picket fence little neighborhoods that those guys had. But in the end, we ended up in Southwest Austin because you have to take the time to stroll around, see the neighborhoods, the access of what you have around you. And one last thing we wanted to check is that we check all our go-to points, where we like to shop, where we like to go kayaking, where we like to do stuff. And we then put that on a map. And every time we were looking for a house, we were like, I was doing the Google Map directions to know, okay, how long does it take me to go downtown? How long does it take me to go to the Domain for work? How long is it going to take me? And we kind of made a decision like that, And one last tip is like, even if it's a super nice neighborhood, always check out first. That's what we would do. We will do a little pre-tour before going with Jeremy. So we will look at the neighborhood and the house, or just a few houses that we were supposed to visit in the afternoon, or not sure. And right away we could tell, oh, it's noisy, it's not noisy, and then I will just say, Jeremy, no, we'll pass on this one. Let's forget about this. So we were kind of doing a pre-selection with my wife before going with Jeremy. When we knew it was too noisy, neighborhood is kind of weird, that's not the vibe we want, etc., etc.
So
I was going to say you can't even really predict when a house will be up. And let's say you wake up on Monday and say, okay, I have work this week. I'm going to wait until Friday to check out a house. That just doesn't work right now. Like if a house goes up, you better go see it within a few hours of it going up, because it's going to go to pending, or it's going to get into a contract probably within a couple hours. So it's nuts. So if Jeremy's call, or if your realtor calls you and says, basically doesn't give you a heads up really, and it's like 2 p.m. and then he or she texts you saying, we got to check this out at 3:30, you should probably go check out the house by 3:30 and not say, hey, can we do 5 o'clock or tomorrow instead, because that house isn't going to be there.
So let's do a vibe check on the mullet over there. Mullet, are you in agreement that if something hits the market, you got to jump out like crazy, or just ride it off or sight unseen?
Yeah, I mean, we had one just a little bit ago, and this is happening all over the place. These guys are absolutely right. You just got to go and do it. And then I got an overseas client that saw one, and it was like an hour before the deadline. I'm like, let's roll. I'm not even going to go over there. It's a good house. I mean, we got to do our best, and if we get the offer, then I'll drive over there and see what's going on. It's just kind of the way you have to roll right now. Although I'll be honest with you, I've been more like telling these agents. I just did it on that same house. I called the agent. I was like, let's be honest. You got an offer over X number of dollars, and she said, yeah. And I was like, I'm not even gonna do it. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna play this game anymore.
I feel like that's. There are some agents that are trying to be coy, and I'm just like, you know what? We're not in the wasting time business anymore, right?
No.
So I will, like this agent, I got a call from my client at 5:50. Then literally right now, before these guys came on, I'm like, hey guys, hold on a second, I'm writing an offer. 5:50, deadline is 6. And I'm telling them like, hey, we need to get this in. Like there's no waiting. And so I text the agent, no answer. And I go, I don't know where we need to go, but it's going to have to be over 100. And so I'm calling the agent, and it's like, hey, if that agent isn't giving you like, hey, you got to be 130. And here's the thing is like, I want everyone to understand this. If I'm telling you, or Kevin's telling you, hey, you need to be 150 grand over list price, the agent on either side is not lying to, maybe they are, but they're not lying to us generally, right? Because we're now in the time where agents don't want to waste other agents' time. We've been in that position as buyers agents, writing stupid offers over list price, 150 grand to not get it, right? Everyone on, like, well, not Joel, but Adi and Damon, they wrote offers and offers and offers over list price and didn't get them. And so if your agent is saying, look, I talked to the agent and they're saying they need to be 23%, that's pretty specific. They need to be 23% over list price minimum in order to get this. We're not lying to you. That agent's probably not lying, because what's the good in telling somebody, hey, you're gonna have to write 120 or 23% over list price, and then you go, fuck that, I'm not gonna do that, right? You don't write that offer. They don't get that offer at 23% over list price. So if you're lying, they still have 22% over list price in their pocket, right? So why in this market would you lie to say, oh yeah, it's not 20, I've had clients that have said, not believed me that person is being honest with 20% over, or 150K is going to be over. So, all right. So let's ask some basic questions here. Back to actually, you know what? Let's hit the comment line. Here we go. Just a solid thumbs up, everybody. Y'all are doing a great job. Solid thumbs up. Master Jedi, has anyone been to Manor yet to see how awesome it is? Has anybody here been to Manor yet?
I've passed by it. It's developing. It's developing.
I actually almost went to Elgin today just to buy a computer mouse at Walmart. But I decided
nobody's got anything. Dinosaur D. Look, Dinosaur D, you're killing me, man. I got Kevin on, all right? Don't worry about Ian.
He's on his way.
He's on his way. His Tesla hasn't driven fast enough. He didn't get the Elon update, my friend. Hold on.
Tell Master Jedi I get the sideways reference, by the way, too.
The sideways reference?
Yeah, he said sitting sideways, boys in the days.
Yeah.
You know, I'm called all the people's champ.
What game are you playing over there? Are you playing like Minecraft or something?
Me? Me? No, I'm just like this. I look at homes while we talk about this stuff.
I know, I got you.
I sit on MLS the whole time here.
Master Jedi, this is, you know what? I appreciate this question because this is something I will start doing on the listing side because I think this is actually very important. Why aren't sellers changing list price so you don't have to deal with multi-offer waste of time stuff?
Oh, Jamie froze. He kicked the plug out of the wall.
Hold it.
The perfect face to
somebody screenshot.
I think it means that he doesn't know.
He doesn't know for so long. He's just like,
yeah. I tell you, he lost it. He kicked the thing out of the wall. I didn't even know what he.
To answer this, we were actually wondering the same thing. Is like we saw all those houses and multiple houses, maybe 10 dozens of them at 450, 505, and we all know that those were 100K above already. And I think it was because they were looking at the comps of the previous months. But Jeremy was telling us the comps they're outdated. Like a month ago, you can probably answer that best than I can. But I think that's what you're telling us, right?
But I actually had a good example from this weekend of something that happened. We went to a home that was good. I mean, the work was top of the line. It was a flip house. It was top of the line, maybe even too much for the neighborhood that we were in. And they were asking what they should have been asking based on this market, right? That's how much it probably should have sold for. And what everybody did, and what my clients did too, is like, well, if we have to offer 100 over this price, we don't want it. And so the agent called me on Sunday night and she's like, hey, do you have any feedback on the house? I was like, yeah, why are you asking me for feedback? She's like, we don't have any offers. And I was like, you got to be kidding me, right? So it literally scared everybody away. Nobody's expecting the prices to be there yet. So everybody's in the mindset that I have to go at least 100 over the price. So I think it's going to be a few months of stepping the prices up before we see the people bringing the price to where they're actually supposed to be today.
Well, and that's a good point too, because like Joel's in the prime position right here. Joel, like you're the belle of the ball right here. You got the new build at the right time. Joel, if you were to try to buy a new build right now, how hard would it be?
In Treviso?
Yeah, I was gonna see who broke first. You broke first. Yes, Treviso.
I actually do have a friend who lives in Treviso. I'm not sure which of the communities, but I was teasing him about it. I'm like, you could sell that for a pretty penny right now. But I think in general,
come to call me.
Yeah. We at that point we'd probably be looking further out. I mean, at what point does Johnson City become Austin West? So. Yeah. We would probably just be pushing further and further out to get something that's still in that affordability range, because I don't know that outside of a few months ago that I would still be buying in the same community if I was trying to stay within a certain range.
If Dripping Springs would, go ahead, Jeremy.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if Dripping Springs would embrace the growth plan, then I don't think it would be. I think Johnson City is far ways away, because there's plenty of really good spots in Dripping Springs that haven't even been close. There's actually like thousands of acres of master plan communities that have already been allotted in Dripping Springs that literally haven't even started yet.
Wow.
Yeah.
I had a client ask Eileen legitimately straight-faced, hey, what do you think about Treviso? Eileen was like, go watch Jeremy's videos. Vizcaya over Treviso? Neither. How about that? I mean, I'll take Vizcaya over Treviso, to be honest with you, but both are the same situation. I had somebody reach out to me. They go, yeah, I put an offer for legitimately. I put an offer $167,000 for the lot. Joel, how would you feel right now if you were at $167,000 offer just for the lot of your place?
I mean, I paid a lot premium that was well above what you even said I should pay back in the day, and I felt bad about that. And now I feel great about it. So yeah. I think
167 sounds
terrifying.
Terrifying. So they said we put an offer on this lot for $167,000. The house we want is base price was like $480,000, and then that's without the upgrades. Do you think that's a good value? And my answer was, you didn't ask me to be your agent. I can't advise you. Boom.
Boom. Roasted. Boom. Roasted.
This is boom roasted. Hey, Jeremy, can you please give a good buy? Okay, hold on. Before I get to all these other questions, if you have questions for the gentlemen that are on here that are that have gone through the process that you're about to, please drop those questions. And I want to make those a little bit of a priority. I'm going to get to all these Master Jedi ones. Dinosaur D's falling off. Who else are we missing, Kevin?
That's a good question.
Yeah, we're missing some.
The real Neil Patel. Where's he at?
Yeah, where's real Neil? I mean, Joel. Where's Joel? Joel, are you? Oh, wait, Joel's on here. So, all right. So
you can only do so much.
Yeah. So let me ask a basic question. All three of y'all, and that's a word I hope is in your vocabulary by now, being here. All three of y'all moved from the California, right? So explain why you decided to leave California to come to the great state of Texas. We'll start with Joel. Keep it PC for the people, unless you don't want to. I don't care.
No. I won't get spicy. No, I think a lot of it too was we had actually looked at several places outside of Austin as well. So we were considering. We looked at San Antonio. We looked at Dallas. We even looked at like the Nevada side of Tahoe. We were looking at a bunch of different areas, but I'm a tech guy. I needed to be near a tech hub, so that limited where I was going to end up. The only thing we knew is that if we had stayed in California, which was still an option, we looked at what our tax burden was going to be, and the only way that one of the attractive things for moving to Austin was we were pretty much going to be either tax neutral or we were going to go down in terms of our tax burden. We also are, the wife and I, we like to be outdoors, if that's hiking, biking, camping, whatever. And we were looking for communities that supported that as well. And I think in general, outside of leaving family and friends, which is always difficult, it was more so realizing that to get what it is that we wanted to achieve and to not feel like we were, for all the money that we did make in California, that we felt like we were just treading water. We needed a new community that was going to help the family prosper and help. It was a confluence of things that just led us to the point where we realized that Texas was going to be more up our avenue of what, from a policy standpoint to just a living standard that was going to help facilitate that versus staying where we were at. And, in the time to the point where we realized this is what we were doing, we had all the second guesses in the world, but at this point, after being here for a few months renting and getting a chance to tour around Austin and the just seeing what it has to offer, there's no regrets whatsoever. And my family can't wait to come visit once all this is over as well. So,
Mr. Damien, you're French Canadian. What would make you come all the way to Austin, Texas, y'all?
So it's funny because I see a lot of common things with Joel. Obviously, one thing is that I'm French and Canadian. I'm not French Canadian. It's a little different.
Sorry, I hyphenated too quickly. French, comma, space, distance. Canadian.
No, and I'll tell you why I'll tell you this is because being French, living in the U.S. was always a dream of me, my wife and I, and we love it in the U.S. So we're one of those French guys that love the U.S. and so California was an option because of work. So that's why we ended up in California. We first wanted to go to Boston, so very different. But we ended up in California. We loved it. It's just that, okay, now we said we love the US. We're confirmed that we want to stay here. It's just that, the cost of being in California, we couldn't afford anything. And we didn't want to go on and paying rent of $2,500, $3,000 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment. We wanted to have, build a future. And there was no way we could do that and we could afford it in California. I mean, there's a lot of people dissing about California, saying it's bad, it's whatever. No, we had a great time there. We loved it, but it's just, we couldn't have a future there. And with my work, I work in a tech company too. And they had a hub in Austin. So we went a few weekends over last year and the year before. And we found, and that's why I come back to my French Canadian comment, is that we found a lot of similarities with Montreal, where I lived there for 7 years, and it has that little weird vibe that you like in Montreal. The food is great, the people are super nice, very outdoorsy. Believe it or not, in Montreal they are.
Do they wear a lot of Red Hot Chili Pepper shirts?
I don't know about that, but it's no, we found that in Austin, it's not just a move because of money. It's also a choice, of what we wanted to do. And in Austin, we felt that it checked all the boxes. Be able to live here, great food, great people, outdoor life, a little smaller kind of vibe, city vibe that we wanted, that we had in Montreal. So it was a no-brainer for us. No regrets.
Awesome. Adi, you moved here from California as well.
I did.
Welcome. You made the
Thanks,
right decision.
Thanks,
Why I waited for you last is you kind of talked a little bit about why you left earlier. But moving from California to Austin, what was the impetus really for you? I mean, you said that you had looked at places to buy there, and then Austin was just a better vibe. But you're in the music industry, obviously. You got your AdiVocals.com on there. Was that a smart move for you? Do you feel like that was a good move?
Yeah. The music scene. Okay. Before I talk about all this stuff, a lot of people say that Austin is the California, like the second California or like the second LA. It's not. It's its own vibe. It's its own amazing set of experiences that you have, just like California or just like Los Angeles or wherever wherever people came from California. It's not the same. I would say, when people say like it's as close to LA as you can get, I tend to correct them because it's so different. Like, yeah, I guess it makes sense when people say like when you go out to restaurants or something, you have more choice, or the people around you seem to be seemingly like-minded or anything. But I think if you're gonna move to Austin, you come for the vibe, and it's very different from anywhere else. You enjoy the vibe that is Austin rather than trying to sit here and compare it with wherever you came from, California included. But one of our reasons is definitely the music industry. I do a lot of recordings for shows, films, international productions, mainly from India. And for me, all the work that I did really didn't matter anymore as to the location. There was a point in time where I needed to be in Los Angeles for recording sessions and the type of work that I used to do during the day job. But now with everything being remote, even world crisis as that started last year. I mean, I'm really trying hard not to say the phrase.
I already like broke it with that earlier, but I appreciate you trying hard not to.
Oh man, everything started to become more remote in its nature for me. Like the recordings were always remote for the people I used to work with, and I knew that the live scene over here, everyone in Austin, beyond saying that hey, this is a really close to California or LA or whatever it is, they always spoke about two things: food and the music. The music industry or the music scene here is very different. It's very much live, and it's so infused into culture and everything that you guys do. It is, or everything that there is to be doing here. It's different from what California has to offer, but it's still a great music scene here. So that was one of the main reasons why we decided to move here. So
that's one thing I hear over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, is that my company is now allowing me to go remote.
Yeah.
Is for all of you, is that something that really was like, okay, I can go remote, so pick the spot on the map that fits me best? Was that pretty much, I mean, I know you've all made comments about why you chose, but was the ability to go remote a big reason why you made the move?
Yeah. My wife had, the nature, she's a consultant, and the nature of her job is remote work to begin with. She only needs to go to client sites whenever there's a client meeting. But otherwise, She sits at we have this huge table here that we just sit next to each other, and this is our office space, and we both work here together. So
I couldn't do that. Oh my God. Oh my God. If you want me to work next to my wife, we're in the same business. And I'm like, get out of here, lady. Boom. Jeremy, what about this? No, I'm on a live stream. Eileen, come on. Joel's on the phone with me, Eileen. Stop it. I'm just kidding. Cool. All right. Well, I mean, so it sounds like that was a big impetus for y'all, is that you just said, hey, look, I can go remote. I want to, since I'm tech and I want to be near a tech hub, here's where I'm going to go. Yeah. So it sounds that. So one question I had, and I think there was a good question here in the comments, was mullet check. I don't know who this guy is, Jeremy Knight. He said something about mullet check. Is it there? Okay, it's there. Okay. He also brought up another comment. Where's the logo, Kevin?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
All right. So he's working on it. All right.
It's going to be awesome. Just it's going to be epic. So
it's going to be epic. Yeah. That's what she said. Okay. Is there an office in here? All right. Joel, a lot of people are happy that you're commenting in the comments. So thank you for jumping in and doing that. As far as appraisals for new builds, let's talk about that real quick, because that is an issue. It can be an issue, and I've seen it become an issue. So with new builds, these builders are very, very slow to release inventory. So you're getting slower inventory to come out. So you're having less closings. The difference is those prices are jumping up drastically. So they do those appraisals typically about 30 to 45 days before you close, right? The lender's finally like, oh yeah, you're closing soon. Yay. We haven't talked to you in 6 months. We could care less about you for 6 months, right? I have a client who's dealing with that right now. We close next month and he's like, what the hell? Where have you been for the last 6 months? I've been asking questions. Anyway, not the point. The builder's lenders, not the local lenders. Anyway, so usually about 30 days before the lender will start to engage, they'll run that appraisal. If there are prices that are jumping up, so if you are doing, or if you're one of those people that writes an offer for $167,000 just for the lot, be prepared. Joel was very lucky. I think, like, Joel, when did you write your contract on your property?
It was early September.
Joel was one of the lucky ones, right? If you're doing that now, you are having to go into a multiple offer bid on a lot, right, Kevin?
Yes, absolutely.
So
yeah.
I'll give you a prime example. Eileen wrote an offer for a DR Horton home. It was like $390,000 home, something like that, just on Sunday with a client, because the way they're doing it is they'll release 3 homes and everyone gets to bid on them. Yay! It's eBay.
We love it.
$50,000 over list price to buy a new build home. Now look, if it doesn't appraise, it's still on the buyer. So that's the thing. You have to be careful when you're doing these bids, and these builders do not give an FU to you when it comes to those appraisals. They are telling you, you have to make up the difference. But here's the deal. If a builder writes an offer on a property 4 months out, 3 months out, a year out, guess what happens? The values go up month over month over month. So if it doesn't make appraisal and you have to back out the last minute, guess what happens? They sell it to somebody else and somebody else takes it over. That is how it works right now. It's very unfortunate. I feel almost that it's predatory, but that is how it's working right now. It's scary. It's super scary. And I'm putting out a video on Saturday, and guess what? Somebody on this live stream's son is my editor. I'm not going to say who.
That's awesome.
I'm not going to say who, but I'm super excited about it. I've seen some screenshots of the new video. I'm literally excited. I'm excited. I know I made the right decision. Yes. I don't think so. Here's a good question. Is DR Horton a bad builder? The answer is they are a production builder. So they build very quickly. I don't think they're a bad builder, but they build very quickly. And when you run on a quick timeline and you build things quickly, you run into issues.
It's like the difference between I equate it to Toyota's probably even better, but in Toyota's heyday, I didn't even think Toyota was that great, but they built a lot of cars and people kind of liked them. So it's kind of the equivalent. Like when you're in the house, you don't really notice. They're just choosing a lower end finish for the most part. Everything else you don't see. I've had way worse experiences with way smaller builders than D.R. Horton. In fact, I haven't had a bad experience with D.R. Horton at all, or Lennar.
No. Well,
I personally haven't. Maybe I mean, others have, but I personally have not.
Yeah. Luckily, these gentlemen didn't have to work with any of those builders, which is great. Their agent put them in the right direction. All right. So I had a bunch of questions. How about this? Let's start with Joel, and we'll work around the horn. Adi's got to go in about 15 minutes. Let's talk about your experience so far in Austin, right? You've made the move. You've been here for a little bit. You can tell how long you've been here. We'll start with Joel, work our way down to Damien. Tell us about your experience so far. I did that video called Regrets, right? The guy who regretted moving to Austin. I want to hear your short time here. You can tell how long you've been here. I want to hear your experience. What has it been for you, Joel?
Yeah, I mean, for the family and I, we've been here since November. We have made it a point, if not every weekend, every other weekend, to get out outside of Snowpocalypse. So that was fun. To get out and to do as much as we can just to see the city, to experience what, even given the restrictions that are currently in play, which aren't much, to be honest. It's more so just getting out into the community, talking to people, dining, entertainment, that type of stuff. And it's been nothing but good. I mean, look, one of the things that attracted us, even when we visited for a few days back in August, our experience with the people were just insanely friendly compared to what we're used to. I'm not saying the people in LA aren't nice. That's not the case. It's just a different experience. And it was something that just, it really lit up our hearts. And we were really excited about, not just buying a home, but finding a community that we could grow with as well. And I think that also mattered to us. And I think we found that. But our experience overall has been very positive. So much so that I'm sure our friends are sick of our Instagram feeds. So.
We just became friends on Instagram. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, Jeremy Knight KG. But we just became friends on Instagram, and I'm enjoying it. Adi, what's your experience been being in the A-Town?
We're still kind of getting used to it. We got this house in December. It needed some work, so it needed new floors. It needed a new kitchen, floors in the kitchen, floors on the stairs, all the way upstairs. It needed a lot of paint work. So we got the keys December 17th at 10 a.m. We started painting December 17th at noon. So it was, it's been a minute since we've had a chance to actually go out and do Austin things. But overall, we're really liking it. That we're in the part of Round Rock that kind of requires you to drive out a little bit to get to the, let's say, the nicer restaurants or whatever it is. But we love the area. We were lucky enough to get a cul-de-sac property. Like my wife and I still talk about how we got this house. It's still unbelievable given how crazy this market is. So, but going back to how we like Austin so far, we really do love it. We did have a chance to go kayaking a couple weekends ago. So that was like the first Austin thing that we did. We took a lot of pictures. There's a lot to do, but we basically have done. We've put not a list, but we've put some sort of list together to go check out at least one thing every weekend, just like Joel was saying.
Right on. So, Damien.
Yeah.
Welcome back. So Damien has a Tesla. Sorry to blow up your spot there. And every time I would see Damien, he'd have a kayak or a paddleboard or something on top of his Tesla. And if people don't know, I have a Tesla Model Y. Okay. I'm not one of those, like, I love Elon guys, but every time Elon tweets, I go buy whatever he says. So so Damien, tell me, you've been here longer than these two yahoos, which I love to death, you yahoos. So tell us what you're thinking, man.
Yeah, we visited, like I said, Austin a couple of times before last year, just on the weekends, just to feel the vibe, and we really loved it. And I have to say, we arrived here in May to settle down in the rental and then got the house, and no regrets. I mean, it's been amazing experience. People are being very friendly. Like, we had the house 2 weeks ago, and I'm doing some paint work and stuff in the garage and stuff, and people stop by and say, "Hey, welcome to the neighborhood." You know, something like, I really feel, talking about, like Adi, you were talking about having a community or finding a community. I feel we found that, and we'll feel very blessed. And what I always tell to my wife, and my wife tell me the same thing, we love Austin right now because that's the only way we really knew Austin from May till now. It's like lockdowns and all the stuff. So imagine how much we're gonna love it when we get everything opens back up and we have concerts and venues and you know, people being outside and stuff. So if we love it now, we're definitely gonna be even more in love later. So no regrets at all. It's just that I wish we've done that like a year ago. So to spare some money.
Valerie has to go kayaking. She says, "I'm born and raised in Austin, 28 years old, and I still have yet to go kayaking."
It's amazing. I love it. It's such a peaceful feeling, and it's great. People are super friendly. You have so many spots around. I just enjoy it so much.
So, Valerie, if you want to go kayaking, there are some great spots on Ladybird Lake that you can go rent a kayak. So definitely don't hesitate. Go do it. It's fun. Master Jedi, who has been very active, and I've been laughing behind the scenes at his comments. So thank you. That's a way better green screen wall than Ian's. I love that one. Hey, look, Joel's on the live stream. Oh, wait, never mind. Joel's there. All right. Gotcha. Thanks, Cameron. Cameron, I don't know what you said, but it was great because somebody appreciated it. Bill Gates is back. People in LA aren't nice. I don't know. We got some nice ones that moved here to Austin. See, that's the thing. The nice ones move, right? They're friends of ours. Okay, so back to my question wall I had over here. What has surprised you the most? I know, Adi, you got to go in a minute, but I'll start with you on this one. What has surprised you the most about moving to Austin?
Aside from the home buying process?
Oh, you know what? There's a great question somebody asked about the homeless up here. Like, legitimately, I want to ask this question, and I missed it earlier.
Yeah, they said, how do you feel about?
Yeah, how do you feel about? You know what? I think that's a great question to ask because you know what? A lot of people that I hear from, and I'm not going to say any of you all said this, but they say I don't feel safe in LA because of the homeless, because of just stuff in general. Not necessarily all the homeless. Please don't start thumbs downing this, yelling at me and sending me to burn. But like, so the homeless situation in Austin, right? It's not the best. You know, and we're just going to talk about it on my channel. You know what? For all those haters that hate my channel for talking about real things, we're talking about real things.
Whoa. Who hates this channel for talking about real things?
Oh, dude, man, I got all these people that hate this channel. That's good. It's fine.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man. Just read the comments.
Like
they always say, why do you bring Adi on? He makes all these crazy comments. I'm like, Adi's the best, man. I love that guy. All right. So, but seriously, the homeless situation in Austin, it has expanded, right? It is not what it once was. For you coming from where you were in LA and seeing it here, what's your experience seeing it, and what would you equate it to? Like the equivalence of the two, I guess.
Honestly, I don't know how to answer that question. I will say that Austin is going through a lot of changes with respect to what it is as a city, the types of people that are here, the types of people that are moving here, you know, inclusive and outside of California and from around the world. I think Austin is expanding so fast that there are going to be things that need to be considered. So homelessness, yeah, it's a thing, but it usually tends to happen when a city that was relatively like pretty minuscule suddenly expands so much so rapidly. So I think there's going to be some level of change that people are going to accept, and we'll find ways to deal with it. But I know that's a really roundabout answer, but I don't really have an answer to that.
Yeah, I mean, y'all are just here, so I mean, it's not like you're supposed to have all the answers for us that have been here for years. Joel, any comments? You don't have to. If y'all can just say pass. Right?
Well, I think the reality is that we're not policymakers, right? And all we can do is either sympathize or bitch and moan. And I think at the end of the day, it's one of those things that you don't want to see in a city, because there's both the heartfelt, hey, we want to see these people do better, but how much of this is mental illness? How much of this is people down on their lucks? And I don't think there's a simple answer there. If there was, we would have figured this out a long time ago. I think the reality is, though, you have to make a decision. If you're going to determine hey, I'm going to buy a multi-million-dollar condo in Venice Boardwalk so that I can get a great view of the beach and the tent city, that's your choice. But you're going to have to make those decisions. And I feel terrible personally if you're an existing homeowner and all this stuff pops up around you. There is no easy answer. It's going to be up to, as the city expands, to find a solution, or it's just going to get worse. You can't continue I don't want to get political. You have to worry about the policies that are in play that either help address the issue or ultimately end up promoting the expansion of the issue. And that's something in terms of something to keep in mind, actually, is a better way to put this. Policy is always downstream from culture. And so if you want to change policy, the better way is to change a culture, or to address culture, and to be active in your community. And policies will reflect what it is, the voice of those people that are putting in that time, and as you're building those communities. So maybe that's a better way to put it.
I don't think I have a better answer than what you guys said. All I can say, for having lived in LA and Long Beach, we're far from the situation that we're having here compared to LA and stuff, and we don't want this to be as worse. It's just, again, like you said, policies, and obviously this present times have worsened the thing, and I'm hoping that when economy gets better, we can definitely help those people, because it's really heartbreaking to see all that. But I don't think I have a solution. I wish I had, to be honest, but I don't.
How'd you do in your game? My son came back from baseball. I had to leave baseball to come back to this.
Oh, buddy.
Did you get a hit?
Yeah.
How many hits did you get?
I think there's like 2 times. I don't know.
Did you get doubles or triples? Home runs.
Home runs, bro.
0 home runs.
0 home runs.
That's okay.
So the thing we're working on is when he hits the ball deep into the outfield, but he doesn't realize he needs to run to second base.
Yeah,
he runs to first. He's like, I made it. I'm here. I got it. I'm like, son, you got to run to second base. Did you run to second base?
Yeah.
All right. See, there you go. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love you. I'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
See, it's a family show, folks. We haven't hit the after hours yet. Okay, so sorry for cutting you off there.
He's not wrong. Jedi, you're not wrong, brother.
What did Jedi say?
He said I'm making money moves right now. He's not wrong.
Oh, I thought he was.
I am.
Why not said this? So that's what I was looking at.
Oh, no, not here.
No. That's why he doesn't want to show his browser.
I'll never show my browser.
So, yeah, so I think, for people in Austin, as far as the homeless, there's definitely 2 camps of people, right? So there are we shouldn't victimize them or make them whatever, right? We shouldn't penalize them for being homeless. And there's the camp that says, well, we shouldn't let them camp anywhere, right? But I think there's not a lack of compassion on either side, right? Both sides want compassion, but both sides, there has been for a long time, it's KAB, keep Austin beautiful. If you're driving through Austin now, you do run into times where there's tents all along places that were never tents before. And so as far as the homeless situation goes, I don't have the right answer. And as Joel said, Damien and Adi, nobody has the right answer right now. But it is concerning that we are seeing such a spike in homelessness in the last year and a half, really. And it's been the last year and a half where we just saw everybody camping everywhere. It was an invitation almost, right? When we lifted our bans, but we'll work with city council. We'll work that out. All right. So I don't want to spend all day on that.
Can I say something about it though?
No.
Because Lady Leaner asked why I'm even here. She's like, why is Kevin even there? He's not doing anything. So I feel like I might add 2 cents. I don't disagree. And you know where I stand with this. Like, I don't think that our city is doing a good job of really managing it at all. I don't think just saying do whatever you want is a good answer. Like there's got to be some middle ground. It's not that we're not, as a community, that we're not compassionate to people that aren't as well off. But the problem is you can't judge the reasons why they're in that situation, but there's got to be a framework of rules, generally speaking. Like if you were in any setting whatsoever, at work or at school or whatever, you have to have some rules. And if there's somebody that doesn't want to obey the rules, you don't just like let them go do whatever you want. Even though it's more complicated, you still have to have some rules. You might have to change those things around. It's frustrating to just say, we're not going to do anything and we're just going to kind of see what happens. Our city, I think, can do a lot to set up a loose framework for the problem and still have, a long-term plan to keep the city beautiful, because that's what people want. Same for us. If I want to live in a house, I still have to pay my property taxes too. I can't just decide one day, I just don't want to pay them. I don't want to pay my property taxes anymore. What are you going to do about it? There are repercussions for me. There should be repercussions for everybody. So
before we go any further, real quick, Lady Lennart says this doesn't make sense anymore. You know what? It doesn't. All right.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Audie Rowe. Sorry, I did it again, man. I'm sorry.
All good,
Audie,
man.
I love you, man. Audie's got to go. He's got to go mix some demos for some people and make some music and make the world a better place. Audie, have a good one.
Thank you, guys. It was fun.
I don't think we're lacking empathy here, right? Like, do you get
the lack of empathy on the set is super disappointing.
I don't think we're not empathetic at all. I think we're very empathetic, honestly. Like we literally just.
Kevin, here's the issue, right? If you say that there's a problem, you're lacking empathy. That's why it's always gone. And that's why I'm annoyed with the conversations about the homeless problem, right? And why when I put this on my channel, people automatically thumbs down and write nasty comments because they say we're lacking empathy. It's not a lack of empathy. We all have empathy for these people. I spend so much time. This is what annoys me. This is what fucking annoys me about this town. I spend so much time helping out organizations like Community First Village. And then I'm told I lack empathy.
Yeah.
Community First Village does way more for the homeless population than anything. Buying a homeless hotel does not help the homeless situation. Yet you're told I'm lacking empathy. I've gone out and picked flowers for these people at their events. I've gone out and helped pick fruit. I've given these people food at events. Yet I'm told I'm not. So that's why this comment drives me crazy.
No, Andrea's not saying it directed at us. She's directed.
I know, but
to a lot of people that are on the thread. But like, I understand this. This is not going to make. It's not going to make everybody happy. This is a really divisive, and it always has been a really divisive topic for the city. It's been divisive for years, before the tent cities came up too. But people are like, well, is this even about real estate? Yeah, it's about real estate. Like, because
people are moving here. We have people on this channel that left LA for partly, I mean, you can say yes or no that there was an issue in your area, but so many people reach out to me and tell me, I want to leave LA for this reason exactly. Right. I had somebody buy in my neighborhood. There's an overpass outside my neighborhood that did not want to buy in my neighborhood because there's an overpass, because they were afraid that there were going to be homeless people there.
I think the issue is, again, like, this is not the reason why we move, but I understand what you're saying, Jeremy. And the problem is that, you cannot be happy about what's happening and you don't want those people to be there. But if you don't have a solution in front of it, there's not much, hey, people, we don't want you with your tents downtown. It's cramping the style of the city. But, okay, what do you propose? If you have nothing in front of it to put and address the problem, and this is where we're supposed to spend our money and elect people that does that, it's hard for them to, to go anywhere. Like, what do you want to do with those people? Like, that's the big problem. We don't have the solution in front of it to address it. So,
and that's the hard part, right? Is coming up with the right solution. And I think that's where our city has tried. I don't think they've done a great job. And even Kevin said they haven't done a great job. We've tried. I just don't think the solution is the right solution. But I don't think anybody has the right solution.
No, you can't. I mean, I don't know.
Somebody's always not going to be happy about the solution, right? Somebody's always going to have a critic. I can be a critic this way. Somebody else is going to be a critic the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I also it's a catch-22. Do we really want our law enforcement officers just like sweeping the streets? If they do pass some law and they're just like, we're not going to leave, then what do we want our police officers sweeping the streets for people that are just sitting out, really not doing much? You know, they're not doing anything to really bother anybody. It's just kind of when clients come to town, they're like, what's going on here? You know, I'm like, I can't tell you that this is great, but I also can't tell you it's going to change. So, and most of the time people are like, okay, whatever, it doesn't really affect me. So I don't know if it has a long-term. It just, I think the city needs to embrace what's going on and make a plan for everybody that fits both sides of the category. People that want order and people that have empathy and think that we want to serve them in a way that's productive. And we're not doing it. Letting them stay there is not serving them in a way that's productive. That's my point. So that's the last I'll say about it.
Sorry, we went off on a total way crazy tangent. I apologize, folks. My apologies. So how about the water in Austin? How's that taste?
Tastes great.
Tastes great. Sorry, folks.
What are we talking?
Yeah, sorry. I saw a comment. I get in on it, and I get passionate about this because I care about the city. I think here's what people don't understand. And I get on my channel, I get criticized a lot for a lot of things, right? I say something, people don't agree with that. I see all the comments, like all the comments that come through the channel. I see a majority of them, and people accuse me of a lot of things. But here's the number one thing. I've been in the city for 9 years. I bring on people that are new to the city, that are enjoying the city for a specific reason. I love Damien, love Joel, Adi, I love all these guys. And I love their wives. I love them all, right? They're fantastic. But I care about this city, and I care about the future of this city. I care about where this city goes from here. And I brought on people that have a similar thing, right? Joel moved from a city to be here because he cares about the city. He's going to care about the city. He's got the Texas flag behind him. Damien, same thing. Damien's got an amazing heart. Kevin, he's got a mullet, so that counts for something.
I mean, NASCAR, baby.
It's about as Texas as you get.
All right. So let's get this train back on track. Damien, you're French. Tell us about that.
Not much I want to tell you. I'm telling you that we have those problems with homelessness there too, and we haven't found the solution either. So it's not a U.S. problem. That's what I can.
It's a worldwide problem right now. Yeah, it's more politic. It's a political problem more than anything. That's why nothing will probably get done for a long time.
I made a comment about water, and Nick E just came in like bam and nailed it. The zebra. So y'all were not here for the zebra mussels thing. So the water. So we had to like shut down a water, do a boil notice water because there was a shellfish or whatever zebra mussels that got in the intake, and the water tastes terrible for a while. So Joel, you're probably not going to be on Austin water over there, so you're probably in good shape.
No, but I read all about it because I was looking at it in terms of Lake Austin or Lake Travis and the issues that they're dealing with there. If you take a watercraft out there, and I'm like, wait, what is this zebra mussel thing? And that sounds terrible.
I jumped out of a boat one time. We were on a boat having a guy's day. It was my buddy's birthday. I wanted to get out up on the rocks, and there were zebra mussels all over the rocks and sliced my foot up. It was awful. Yeah. They suck. After settling your properties, how much extra did you guys have to pay for little fixes around the house? This is a great question. Adi's out. I'm going to answer for Adi. He probably spent a few $1,000s doing paint and flooring. We're probably talking to like the $10,000 to $15,000 range. Damien, you've done some work on your house. You can give ballpark numbers.
Yeah, I'll give you a ballpark numbers. And I think, it's important because we always think about, okay, I'm putting money on the side for the down payment, for, property taxes. But even our house looks remodeled and it's great, but there's still stuff that are electrical and a few paints and stuff. So I would say around 10, 15,000 to be safe, just in case something happens. It doesn't mean you're going to spend it now. That's not what we're doing. But along the road, like in 1-2 years, if something comes up, I would say, give yourself a little cushion and maybe, work with your lender to get a little less down payment if you can and put more, even though that means maybe 5 years more of mortgage or something. And then maybe you can do some advance payment, but at least give yourself a nice cushion to be with in case something happens. Definitely something that don't go all out on your down payment because you want to do a 20-year instead of 25-year mortgage or something.
Perfect. So Joel, you're doing new build, right?
Yeah.
So you're getting a brand new, tasty, beautiful home that you picked all the upgrades in. You probably will see some extra costs afterwards as well, right? So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can plan for without, especially when you're new to the process, that we have an allotment set aside that we know that there's probably going to be some changes in the first couple of years that we initially went into thinking, hey, this is what we're going to do, that we're either going to love or hate. We'll find out. But in terms of one of the things I was looking at was even the winter freeze that we had this time around. I went right back to my builder and said, hey, what are we using in the walls for the pipes and everything else? Because I wanted to know the materials and how well that was going to perform if we were to ever have an experience like this again. It's the same thing with, even the hose bibs, the connectors for the exterior in terms of how well are those potentially insulated or not at all. And so I can start to figure out where those problem areas are going to be. And unfortunately, everybody has their profession and what they master in and so on. But I feel like as a homeowner, you tend to adopt a little bit of everything just so that you can operate your home in an efficient way so that you're not spending the money all the time for a professional when you absolutely don't need it. Be it if it's just changing out a receptacle and a plug or whatever else it may be. But you start, at least for me, I start gaining that information as much as I can so that I can go into this in the future saying, okay, well, if these things happen, I can be prepared. And so now that I'm going through the home buying process rather than repairing an old home, my last house was built in 39. And it's, you have a few thousand every year that you're setting aside to deal with different issues from leaks to, whatever it may be. Things go bad. That's the nature of being a homeowner. So.
Rock on. Side note, Western States Railroading is headed to Torchy's tomorrow. Anybody actually like that place?
I like that place. Hey, Baja,
Never been.
Shrimp, the Democrat, those are good.
Yeah, the Democrat's good. The shrimp's good. Joel, have you had
The brisket
Torchy's yet?
taco?
No, not yet.
The Wrangler breakfast brisket with scrambled eggs and
Kevin, hold on a
pickled
second.
onions.
I just took you to Valentina's barbecue and bought you a taco, and you're talking about how the brisket taco at Torchy's is good? Get out of here, man.
No, I didn't say it was
take
better or worse. I just said it's good at Torchy's. If you're going to go to Torchy's, it's a good thing to eat. Potatoes, brisket, scrambled eggs. Nom, 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 nom.
So somebody said Joel's a smart man. I would have to agree.
Jury's out.
Pools are money pits. What do y'all think about pools?
I don't have a pool, so
Damien, are you going to put in a pool?
I don't want to.
No, because Damien's got the kayak. He's going to pop it on, take his beautiful wife down, and they're just going to go have
in Rockton Spring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My wife keeps asking me for it, and I am doing everything I can to say no. So
pools here are very expensive. So, I mean, even in this market with higher values, I don't know that you can justify equity add for a pool. The cheapest pool you can get here is like 70, I think, 60, 70 grand. And that's for no, there's somebody that does one now. It's a turnkey deal. They offer a $60,000 pool. It's like a little bigger than like a little dip pool. It's square. They just cut it in, put it in, and then be done. It's like one level of coping. That's their $60,000 option.
I'd rather buy a pool out on the lake than build a pool personally, but I got to convince myself of that.
I would rather buy a place in South Padre and then build a pool.
That too.
Yeah. So let me explain to people about somebody said something about Californians love pools or something to that effect. So pools, electric, something. Okay, look. So I'm in the process of building a pool. And let me explain something to you. We are now 240 days into building a pool. It has been the worst experience of my life. I wish I would have just bought a house somewhere else. I wish I would have bought next to Joel and lived next to Joel, because building this pool has been the bane of my existence. It's hampered my ability to do work. It's hampered my ability to edit videos. It has been the biggest pain in the ass. And the pool company does not care about me one bit. They say they do, but they don't. They just care about my paychecks. And so it has been the biggest. And so, and especially in Texas, the problem with Texas is that, or especially Central Austin or Central Texas, is we have a lot of rock. So it costs more because they got to do a lot more digging. They got to bring in bigger machinery. So if you have a really tight lot and you're running against, what's it called? Impervious cover issues, you're going to run into issues building a pool. And it's going to cost a hell of a lot more. 70 grand is on the cheap, literally 70 grand. So that's why if you're, somebody asked, do pools add value? The answer is no. I always tell sellers, I'll give them a $5,000 bump. But in this market this year, I think pools do add value. The reason why is there's not very many pools, and a lot of communities closed their pools due to the right. So they stopped opening their pools, and so people like me, suckers like me, said, "All right, I'm going to build a pool," and I'm a sucker. So
you're saying that pools don't open tomorrow?
Pools don't open. Bill Gates says, "Bring Ian and Kevin. Bring back Ian."
I'm here.
Ian,
I haven't put my green wall so we can have a tribute to him.
Ian is here somewhere in the back end. He's floating around in space. He's like in the fifth dimension. Okay. So, Damien, did you ever consider Treviso?
Nope. I don't know what that is. Maybe I'm ignorant, but I don't know what Treviso is.
No. Innocent.
Yeah. Impervious cover. Explain that, Jeremy. So impervious cover. So for the two of you who may potentially build a pool, you have what's called impervious cover. So impervious cover is what water can seep into your lot size, right? And so in the city of Austin, you can only have like 45% impervious cover. So your house covers part of that. Your driveway, your sidewalk cuts into that. Your pool is just the coping around the pool. And then so the water in the pool does not count as part of that. For whatever reason, I don't get that, but whatever. But if you build a deck, that deck is part of your impervious cover. So only 45% can be impervious to water getting in.
It also depends on the size of the lot and the zoning on it.
And yeah, where you go. And then Bill Gates, thank you again. Bring back Kevin's mullet. Hey,
it's right here.
Damien, do you have a mullet? Damien. Yeah, oh, man.
That would be a sick mullet.
I could bring it back.
Yeah. I think it would be awesome. The Hulk Hogan.
So here's a good question that I have. So, Joel, how long have you been out here in Austin now?
Since November.
Since November. So we're talking about 4 months.
Yeah.
Ish. Damien, how long have you been in Austin?
Since May last year. Almost a year.
May of last year. So a year. What are your biggest regrets moving to Austin? Biggest regrets. What are something you regret about? Like, what don't you like about Austin? What do you hate about Austin? What's your biggest regret? What would you tell people not to move to Austin for? Besides the Mexican food, because it's not
maybe the heat, the scorching heat. But other than that, to be honest, I miss the ocean. That's
Have you been to South Padre or Boca?
I haven't been to South Padre, so I'm waiting for the invite. But things I don't like about Austin, to be honest, maybe because I haven't been around that long. So far, it's aside of the crazy heat, I mean, not much, to be honest.
Well, that wasn't fun. You're supposed to like give me like a huge.
I know.
regret.
I haven't had like a bad experience with people. I haven't had like knock on wood, I haven't had like anything that makes it difficult for me here. So I've been lucky. We've been blessed, but nothing really that I can think of right now. It's just the heat. That's it.
Joel, what's your biggest regret about Austin so far? What do you not like about Austin so far?
Well, I can't say there's anything I don't like. To be honest, did you
just say you don't like Kevin's mullet? Is that what you just said?
Oh no, I'm just kidding.
Just kidding. All right, go ahead.
No, but it's more so around like the things that you miss are really just your friends, family. When we go hiking now, we used to hike in the mountains versus we hike on trail. it's not that big of a deal, but there are things that you do miss because they're the things that you're familiar with. But one of the things we came out here for was to build new experiences. So,
and to answer, I was going to say to answer
go for it.
About Siberia. I lived in Montreal for 7 years, so that was okay. But and I saw also the cedar fever. Yeah, allergies. That I don't like.
Yeah. So talk about the cedar fever for you, because I did a video about like what to expect in Austin. I talked about the allergies, and this is a common question for me, for most people. You both have been here for a little bit. What's your experience with allergies?
So the weird thing is that there's not really a season. I thought there was like a certain time of the year that we have that, but I've experienced allergies in February, in May, in July, in December, in September. I don't know what is the season, but I feel it's every month is the cedar fever month. So I don't know. It's weird. Maybe it's just me, but I feel it's constantly here.
I would just ask me in about a year's time, and I'll have a better answer for you. But so far, I'm typically not affected much by allergies. I might sneeze a little extra here or there, but it usually doesn't hit me that hard. I will say one of the things that I'm an Oregon native. So when I moved to California, and I was there in 2005, in the first 5 years, I had 6 sinus infections, and I had never had a problem ever.
Where?
And living in LA.
Living in LA, 6 sinus infections
in the first 5 years, and I figured out over time how to manage it and keep that at bay. But the air quality is not something I ever miss. So coming out of here, I'll deal with the heat. I'll deal with potential tornado or anything like that. And I remember I had a buddy of mine who actually lives out there from here, and he said, "Well, don't worry, you have these seasons coming up." And I said, "Yeah, but we don't have a fire season in Austin, and we don't have terrible air quality in Austin. So I'll take that any day."
What about vehicle registration? Is it easy?
Super easy, to be honest. It's not a joke. I'm not ironic. It took me like 15 minutes at the transportation thing in North Austin. It was super. They had the plate ready, and it was very smooth.
Yeah, and there's still a delay though. You're gonna have to make an appointment, and you're still like a good 30 to 45 days out before you'll see them.
So the first thing you did when you moved here, did you just rip that California plate and throw it in a gutter somewhere?
Well, no, I'm still sporting it. It's taken us a while.
How many times have you been rear-ended having that plate? That's the question.
You know what? We have yet to get a finger. So,
Kevin, I got a question for you. Are you done playing solitaire?
I'm not playing solid. I'm not playing games. I'm literally on MLS.
All right. So Kevin, my question for you is Robin Hood, right? So my question for you, Kevin, is you've been here a little longer than these gentlemen. As far as like allergies and that stuff go, what's your take on how are you doing?
I get allergies all the time, actually. I'm not gonna lie. I've had allergies many years before. I grew up in Illinois, where you could like scrape the pollen off of your car during corn pollination season, which sounds so country. It's not even funny. But then I moved to Little Rock, and I thought it would be better, and it actually got worse. And then I moved to Austin. I was like, oh, it should be great. No, it's actually, for me, is worse. Like two times a year. When I first came here, the first couple of years, 2 times a year, I would get like a massive amount of drainage. And then if I wasn't, if I didn't take care of it, then it would settle in my chest and be borderline like bronchitis or, infection. But after like 2 or 3 years, after about 3 years, I get it a little bit, but then it doesn't, it affect me nearly the same. Although I will be honest with you, this is another topic for another day. If you are eating a lot of food that is that you don't even know that you're allergic to, like wheat, dairy, eggs, and things like that, your seasonal allergies will be so much worse. But if you cut food out that are allergens, the regular air allergies actually affect you quite a bit less.
That's a good point. The I-35 corridor brings on more allergies, I think, Jedi. Oh, wait, that's not what he said.
Hey, ask Nick if he worked for Caterpillar.
Nick, do you work for oh, wait, wrong one. Good.
He's from Peoria.
So Nick, do you work for Caterpillar? That's the question.
That's the only reason that you would be in Peoria.
So as far as moving, So we've gone all over the map here. As far as the traffic question. So traffic. So right now, our traffic is meh. It's not that bad. I got a little annoyed driving in traffic. I've had to drive to Georgetown a few times recently. Coming back from Georgetown, I might as well just shove a knife in my eye. It's so terrible. But it's for now, both of you obviously can office from home, but what's the traffic like for both of you? And then Kevin, you have that big, massive truck that's like 15-inch lift. What's that like driving that massive thing and not having a Tesla? Sorry, go ahead. Start with Joel.
I think we got a little bit of a taste of what may be to come once Texas officially opens up tomorrow. We'll see. I think in general, look, my commute in LA was a good hour and a half, 2 hours each way if I didn't offset my hours. So most of the time when I wasn't working from home, even in LA, I was waiting until about 11 o'clock in the afternoon or in the morning to go into work and then coming home around 9, just so that I could avoid a 2-hour drive home. And that was about 25 miles. There is, so far from our experience in Austin, it hasn't been bad, but then again, not everything's open, and I'm sure we haven't even seen the brunt of it. But we're getting little tastes here and there. And I think when we went down to Zilka Park on Saturday, and it was interesting to see with, a few lanes of traffic and everybody trying to get out to the park on the same day, just how backed up that was. But being from LA, we're kind of used to that. So it didn't phase us any differently. We're just like, okay, we'll deal with it. It is what it is.
And I think the reason we feel it's not that bad is the same thing. I was in Long Beach working in Culver City in LA. So it's an hour and a half to go one way and an hour and a half or maybe more to come back in late afternoon. But I think so far, what I noticed is that it's very pendular. I don't know if you have that term, pendulaire in English, but it's on specific hours and time slots. So if you know how to identify those, you can go around it. So far, I've been lucky to do that. So that's why I feel it's not that bad. It's because it's certain roads at certain time. Because LA and California is all the time. Could be midnight. You could have like traffic jam in the middle of the city. So that's why it hasn't been that bad. But I agree with you, Joel. We might see it differently now that everything is open and back for everyone.
Yeah, here's the deal. Like right now, it's just not that bad. It's been decent, right? Kevin, you drive that big truck, right? Is that what you said? A big old.
It's not. That's not that big.
Big. Yeah.
Josh said it's a parking lot princess, and he is right. It is a parking lot princess. It's actually smaller than my old one.
I feel like the traffic has gotten worse in the last couple months, and I just know so the video that I have coming out on Saturday, I talk about the traffic as an issue. Shout out Joel's son Jaden, my editor. Excited about that one. So what we're going to talk about that in my next video as well is that the traffic is nice. So it's fine now. It's fine. I wouldn't say it's great. It's fine.
It's fine.
But in the next 6 months, this traffic, when people are fully open, granted the mask mandate just came down, but that doesn't mean everything's changing, right? And I know a lot of people are upset about the mask mandate. I don't want to get into that rabbit hole.
Let's talk politics. Yay.
Yeah, I don't want to get in that rabbit hole, but I think for the most part, here's the thing. People in Texas are pretty respectful, right? A majority of people, you're going to have the a-holes, right? That just they're a-holes. But for the most part, most people in Texas are pretty nice. Both of these gentlemen have said how great the people are. They're going to be respectful. So I don't see the mask mandate making a whole lot of changes, but it will. But the fact that we're opening up a little bit more might add more traffic. The good thing is a lot of the people that have moved out here, just like the gentleman on this channel, are from work remote. So as far as taking their kids to school, maybe that'll be an issue. But as far as just having a general drive time to work, they're not going to have that same drive time to work. So over 55 communities, Georgetown, they have a really great over 55 community. in Georgetown. There's and thank you, Carl, for the donation, man. $5. Thank you, man. Appreciate you. And I didn't say enough earlier about the $5. I clicked on it. Bill Gates. Thank you, my friend. But yeah, look, I think 55 over communities, there are a few. I just read this article about people moving to Austin for, I guess, like the silver landing or something. I don't know what the term they use, but I think a lot of people 55 and over are going to start getting in those like 250 and under communities, buying like, 1,300 square foot homes, because Austin is still a great place. It's warm most of the year. It's not super cold except for the, did you guys hear about the snowpocalypse thing? So there's a snowpocalypse, but for the most part, I mean, even the gentlemen on this channel have said the weather's not been too crazy yet. We'll see this summer, see how that works out.
But 119 Huntsville Cove in Georgetown is in Sun City. It's live and active right now. So if you want to be here in a 55 plus, that's literally the only home that's available at the moment.
Yeah.
So
and Valerie didn't drop a question, but dropped $5. Thank you, Valerie. Really appreciate you. You put some other good questions up earlier, so I appreciate you for that. I'm trying to pay attention to the comments over here, but we've got such a great cast of people in here. I've been paying attention to what you're saying. So, so Joel and Damien, what are as far as being here in Austin now, we've talked about a lot of different things. What is your favorite, like the most favorite, like you wake up and you're like, oh, I want to go do this today. What's your most favorite part of Austin right now? Damien, I'll start with you.
It's an obvious one for me, is being on the water. Being able to be downtown a major US city and be able to be outside in the calm, people waving hello on the kayaks and just taking the time and have a little breather in your day. It's just a great feeling to be outside within the city, have so much green around you. That's what I enjoy about Austin. It's just that sentiment of being, out in the wild sometimes. Like you have all those paths and trails around in the neighborhoods that, I mean, you see deers and stuff. Like maybe it's something that you guys are accustomed to see, but as a Frenchman living here, like seeing like baby deers and eagles and snakes around is like, for me, it's crazy. So just that closeness to nature here within Austin.
Have you run into snakes yet?
Not on my property. But, outside, yes.
Okay, good. Joel, what about you, man?
Yeah, I would pair it a bit about what Damien said. I mean, it's getting out. It's the hiking. It's really just being outdoors. I think that's one of the big sellers for us when it came to Austin in general, was just the outdoor community and kind of getting back to be it if it's hiking, camping, hunting, whatever that may be, whatever it is that suits you. To me, that was a big seller, and I look forward to doing that more in the community that I'm going to be in. It's a little bit weird because I still feel like I'm in this limbo state as we're renting, but we're getting out. There's a lot of hiking, green belts, and then it's also getting together with a few of the friends that we do have in this town and experiencing new places. There's a ton of breweries, outdoor eateries, and other places that are just fantastic to go to and really just waste the day away, just having a great time. And this is the thing, everywhere you go, it's super dog friendly, and most of them are very family friendly as well. So you don't feel like there's anybody really being excluded. So our entire experience so far has been nothing but fantastic.
Speaking of being very dog friendly, Damien, what's on the horizon for you, my friend?
We're looking right now. We have options. We would like to have maybe a rescue dog if we can, but it's been a tough market for dogs around here. So if you have good tips on where I can get a dog, hit me up.
Yeah,
I got my dog from what was the name of that place? Austin Pets Alive.
Yeah, I checked that. The problem is that this will be our first dog, and most of them are like pit bulls and like super huge dogs. So I don't think it's a good fit for a first.
Yeah, maybe not. I got lucky with mine. He was rescued from Thailand actually, and they shipped him over here, and he's been a true joy, except for the constant barking, the shedding, the neediness. No, I'm just kidding. He's actually been really good, but they were great to work with.
Joel imported like a dog, right? Just one.
No. We brought 5 dogs with us. Yeah.
So that's why it's super dog friendly for you.
It's
awesome.
not so there are different stages. Not all of them are great with other dogs outside of their pack, but there's a few of them that we can take out with us. And it's something that we're going to be doing more now that we're kind of more acclimated and figure out where we can take them. You could not throw a stone without hitting a dog if you wanted to at Zilker Park.
Why would you throw stones at dogs?
In any direction. I didn't say throw them at dogs.
I'm just
There's dogs everywhere that you could see, and that was the thing. And you see this even at bars and everywhere else. It's very commonplace, and that's a wonderful thing to see.
Yeah. Speaking of bars, where can you find a good Bloody Mary?
Well, that's a good question.
I'm going to give you my little helpful temp. Hold on a second. Let me just pour a little bit more. There you go. Okay. So there's a place. I want everyone to listen up. Get in real close. If you're sitting at home, listen real close. There's a place. It's down in Kyle, between Kyle and Wimberley. This place is fantastic. And I want both of you to go try this place this weekend. They have a great brunch, right? It's called Hayes City Store. Hayes, Hays City Store. That place has the best fried chicken I've ever had in my life. If you want chicken and waffles, best place. Margaritas, fantastic. Bloody Marys on Sunday, fantastic. That place, you could drive by it and miss it easily, but it is one of the best places. And if you want to feel Texas, you want to feel Texan, that is the place you'll feel Texan. You know what? You know that whole feeling of like we were talking about. Like people have been talking about the outdoors and stuff. Outdoors, people are super friendly. People don't care who you are, where you are. Just have a beer and let's chat. The staff is friendly. There you go. Hayes City Store, official sponsor of the Jeremy Night thing.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. They have no idea who I am. Other than I'm the drunk guy. It's like bring me another margarita on Sundays. All right. What's that name again? Hayes, Hays City Store.
It will be busy.
It's busy. It's a fantastic place.
It will be busy.
I cannot recommend that place enough. And I would hate if that place was too busy. We sat in the front. So Damien, you'd appreciate this. We sat in the front waiting for margaritas because you can get to go margaritas still. And we sat with my Tesla and the little button where you hit farts. You can hit the fart button, so it's a horn. So we were sitting there and people walk up and we hit the fart button and they'd like look at each other like, who farted? It was this most hysterical thing. So, Hayes City Store. There you go. Farts. There you go.
I like Yilduz's question. She has a question about, do the guests have kids and families? Yilduz Ibrahim.
This one?
Yeah. Do guests have kids in their families? If so, how are they?
We don't. It's just me and my wife.
Oh, okay.
Our son is 19 going on 35. He's great. He was really.
How old is he?
Huh?
How old did you say he was?
He's 19.
19. That's what I thought. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Continue.
Yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah, but he was a little apprehensive about the fact that we were moving. We gave him the option. Hey, look, you can stay in California. You can get a job and support yourself, or you come with us and live for free while you're going to college. And it was an easy choice for him. But,
I would take that choice too.
Yeah. But he's actually really loving it, and he's going to thrive in this area. So,
second bar and kitchen, regular place. Yes, that place is good that Jeremy mentioned. See, boom. Jeremy's got good things. Listen to Jeremy; he knows what's up.
The only
all right.
store in Kyle.
The only store in Kyle. Not true. Not too. Master Jedi was cracking on Maynard earlier, and yep, he was cracking on Maynard earlier. I'm not going to. So anyway, back to the stream. Hey guys.
I'm bullish on that area. I like that area. I think that's the growth belt.
Legitimately, if we're talking about places that are going to blow up in the next 5 years, Manor, Kyle Buda, Leander, I think Georgetown's already kind of blown up. So there you go. There's my top tips.
We tried to buy some land actually over by Manor.
What about Elgin? Are you going to buy an Elgin?
Not yet.
Yeah,
I don't think we're there yet. But we tried to buy some land over in that Manor area, like near the Tesla facility, to do some development. and they doubled the price, and then it was already under contract. Like, so everything we looked at over the weekend to try to put under contract commercially was already under contract. So it's going to happen pretty fast.
So Kevin, I don't know if you've heard this, but I'm buying an investment property that's not in Austin, that's not in any of those areas. So I don't know if anybody's picked that up on this channel where I'm buying an investment property, but it is south of San Marcos. All right. So Valerie says, what's wrong with Manor? Do you like Manor? I like Manor. I really do. Here's the thing about Manor, and look, we got two gentlemen on that are new to the area. So they don't know what the hell we're talking about when it comes to Manor. But here's why I do like Manor. It's like 20 minutes to downtown Austin, right? They are doing a lot. I met with the superintendent 3 years ago about what they were doing with Manor and the growth of Manor and what Manor was doing, what they were doing for the schools. And look, there's so many tax dollars coming into that area. I think Manor will continue to grow. I think it's a great area. My only issue with Manor, and this is my only issue, and I've told it to Joel, I've told it to Damien, is that tax rate. That's my only issue, is the tax rate. But I think with high property taxes, hopefully they will do the right thing and put those tax dollars to good use. But I think Manor is one of those areas to keep on your radar. Manor, Hutto, I think is another good one too. Pflugerville obviously has been around a lot. I just told this to somebody today, but I think Round Rock is overrated. All right. I still think Round Rock's overrated. Audi just jumped off the stream, so I said that when you were here instead of when Audi was on the stream, because he would not have been happy with that. But I'm talking about the east side of really more than I am the west side. He bought west side. So New Braunfels, damn it, they got me again. Yes, so I'm buying an investment property in New Braunfels, and I have a whole video coming out about why we're buying New Braunfels versus buying anywhere in Austin. And it doesn't have anything to do with Austin. Look, Nancy's back. Sorry, Nancy is back. What's up? Hey, Nancy. All right.
Hey, Nancy.
She's back. Gentlemen, we are about 2 hours. So what are some of your, tips for anybody moving to Austin?
Expect to spend more than you think.
Yep.
That's definitely one. Be open, different culture, different mentalities and stuff. Like I said, we've been lucky because everybody have been super friendly. It's great. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm French and different,
and Canadian,
US, but
Canadian
and Canadian. Yeah, I'm both. But it's just that when the first time I came to Austin, I didn't expect this to be so much nature, green, because that's not the idea you have of Texas when you've never been. It's more like desert, hot, and cowboys everywhere. And Austin has that feel that is.
Did you buy a horse when you got out here? I think that's what you have to do, right? You have to buy a horse and a hat. No,
you gotta have the
horse in the boots. Did you get spurs?
Yeah, I got the boots.
Did you get spurs, Damien?
No, not yet.
Okay, all right, go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted. My apologies.
But, I was gonna say be open, be prepared to spend a little more. That's for sure. But I mean, it's great. I mean, every time we discover something, we're amazed how great this city is. So just, like you said, I think Adi said that before, just don't try to compare too much with what you had before, because it's definitely something brand new. Embrace it. And, people have been so friendly. So really love the vibe so far.
That's a common theme, right? Right? The friendliness is a common thing.
Oh, yeah.
I've said, people don't believe me, but sorry, Joel, I cut you off. Go ahead, man.
No, it's fine. It's a good point. I think in terms of tips, it's just, get out here, look around as much as, unless you're just trying to do investment properties, maybe that's a different story where you're like, sure, I'll just take whatever's available at this point. But in general, you're going to feel it. You're going to be going to these different areas, and it happened to us. And I thought, oh no, Leander, that was like the one place I kept zoning in on. But the more that we traveled around, when for us personally, it was just PK, but it was one of those things where we knew after spending a few days where we wanted to be, And everybody's going to be different about that, regardless of where that is. But you have to be there, and you have to go and experience that yourself, figure out what's around there, and figure out what it is that you're comfortable with and what you're familiar with. And then do your due diligence. Hey, is there a community there that fits the tax rate, that fits the style, that fits even the lifestyle that you're trying to live as well? And you know, you're going to find it, but it's just a matter of being here versus thinking you're going to be able to do this remote.
Yeah, I think that's some good takeaways for most people is you can do it remote, but it's not easy. It makes it tougher on everything. It's easier from both of you. It's easier to be here for a little bit or spend time, find a property, and then move out, right? But be here. You know, Kevin, I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of clients that do. I mean, we both have clients that do both, right? But the question I have for you, Kevin, and this seems to be a question that keeps coming up in the feed because maybe I brought it up. I don't know. But why is Round Rock overrated?
Did somebody say Round Rock was overrated?
I did.
Are we rating it?
Emphatically, I said Round Rock's overrated.
Round Rock it's so funny because before I even knew of Austin, like I didn't really think of Austin. I thought this was years ago, but if you're thinking about Austin, a lot of the nationwide news was talking about like Lake Travis being a cool place. And then I always knew Round Rock existed. And I don't know why. Like people always talked about Round Rock in Texas, Round Rock in Texas, Round Rock in Texas. I just think it's because it's been here for a long time. So, you know, it's like the old hat. It's been here for a while and people are like, okay, it's Round Rock. It's cool.
I think that's my biggest thing why I say Round Rock's overrated, right? Is that every big, I mean, it's if you look at the MSA is Austin Round Rock MSA. Mm-hmm. If you look at anything is, you know, people write these articles about everybody moving to Round Rock. And it's primarily because you had Dell that's in Round, like on the cusp of like Austin Round Rock. You have, you know, big tech companies that were in like South Round Rock. The corridor for tech is through Round Rock. So that's why people thought about Round Rock being the best thing. But I feel like Round Rock is a great city. And I don't want to take anything away from Round Rock. But why I say it's overrated is everybody calls me and they say, oh, I want to move to Round Rock. I'm like, okay, well, have you thought about these other cities? Only one person out of the three that were on here moved to Round Rock. Damien, why did you move to South Austin?
You know, that was not our first choice. It was like a lot of stuff that changed during the process. We liked Cedar Park. I don't know, we had a little thing for Cedar Park. Maybe it's because we had a few neighborhoods there. We called it the picket fence because it really looked like, again, the American style homes that we saw we liked. But we went downtown Round Rock. We liked the downtown, but other than that, there was, I don't know, we didn't see as much charm. Maybe I didn't go to the right neighborhoods as Cedar Park, and it was a little further for us, I thought, you know, in terms of being closer to downtown Austin and stuff than Cedar Park. Not as easy, I believed, because it was more with 35 that you need to go, I guess, to downtown rather than having Cedar Park with the Mopac. But I don't know.
Dinosaur D. I love this guy. No, it's not the one. This one. Adi loves donuts more than Joel and Damien. So Round Rock Donuts. Have you guys been to Round Rock Donuts yet?
It's not far from where I'm renting, but I haven't been there yet.
I'm afraid to tell people my favorite donut place.
You probably should keep that a secret.
Yeah,
because
I know,
if you tell
I'll
people,
never be able to get them. There's already a line.
If you tell people, they will come.
Yeah.
So have you? So Joel, you're renting out that direction. What do you think about Round Rock?
You know, we haven't spent a whole lot of time there at this point. I think it's. I mean, I don't really have much to contribute at that point.
So Nancy, welcome to the stream, Nancy. You were earlier in the stream. We said we're missing somebody, and you were it. Kevin, tell us your donut place. I want to hear this.
KC.
KC Donuts? Are you serious?
Are you gonna dog on them?
No, I'm not dogging, but that's like your go-to?
Yeah, that's my go-to.
Not Shipley's?
No, KC is way better than Shipley's, bro. Like, do you want to get into this?
Shipley's is very sugary. Like,
I feel like we're having a falling out now.
No, listen. I'll tell you why. It's not just the donuts, okay? KC has the bacon donut, the maple bacon donut with the big crispy bacon on it, but they also have croissant sandwiches with egg and either bacon or sausage, and they'll warm them right up.
Nice.
You can't beat that. I mean, they have kolaches too, and kolaches are great, but you can get kolache anywhere. But this is a delicious, massive sandwich, and their donuts are tasty. I love it.
Damien, how do you feel about donuts?
So I haven't tried the Round Rock donuts, but I'm not a huge donuts fan. So maybe I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
Keep in mind he's French -- Canadian.
There's nothing wrong with beignets.
I'm just kidding, man. Look, he is the only person on this to sport the best shirt possible. Damien, please show your shirt so people can actually read this shirt. I mean, come on. Yeah. This guy listens to Red Hot Chili Peppers when he worked out 6 years ago. I stopped working out because I just said forget it. I mean,
I don't ever want to feel
like I did that day. All right. So, yeah, Round Rock Donuts. So, if you have not been to Round Rock Donuts, anybody on this channel, Damien, I recommend you check out Round Rock Donuts. I love it.
That on my list.
Let's say some good things about Round Rock, okay? He's feeling a little unwanted. So
Audie, Audie might be upset.
Good things about him.
But Audie's on the west side of Round Rock.
They have Kalahari.
That's true.
Dill Diamond. They have a Salt Lick up there, even though it's not quite as fun.
Ian would be all over this. Ian is a big lover of the Round Rock. So they have the Round Rock, the Round Rock Express. They have the outlets.
IKEA, Nike outlet. Come on.
Joel's temporarily living there, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, close enough. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. So both of you all have been living in Austin for a little bit. What is we have I'm doing like a total 90-degree turn here. But you've been in Austin a little bit. You've been in Austin since the Schmerner virus has been here. What is one thing that both of you are looking forward to in Austin and doing in Austin once things are lifted, once we're back to regular life, once we're back to something like a buffalo immunity happens? See how I did that? You like how I did that? What is something that you're really looking forward to do when real life is back and we're back to real life in Austin?
Well, with no hesitation, have experienced those festivals that you guys have, like ACL, South by Southwest. That's something I'm big on music, and that was something I really missed because it was supposed to be the life capital of the world, right? And I haven't seen much of that yet. So that's why I said when everything goes back to normal, that's the first thing I want to go. I want to go to bars. I want to go to 6th Street. I want to go out, just see the crowd, be with people that party, even though I'm not the guy who's going to be until 5 a.m., but at least be there, see the energy of this city. And I've seen so many, if you type Austin, Texas on YouTube, the first thing you'll see is ACL and people outside and Zilker Park full of people. And that's what I want to experience too. This being just with a lot of people and feel that energy. Mm-hmm. There's definitely no hesitation.
Dinosaur D, sorry, 1 second. Dinosaur D, when they're done with this, I will answer this question. It's a great question. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, very similar vein. It's being out with community. The experiences, the outdoor music festivals, things like that. All those are things that I even grew up with. Didn't do a lot in LA, different life, but it's something that we've, as we've been getting to know, what there is to do here outside of just general outdoor life. It's very exciting. And, I think part of that too is just being part of that community, cultivating that. And look, I think we're all eager to get back to some sense of normalcy at this point, regardless of what that is. But yeah, I think seeing those events come back, there's going to be several years for us to do a lot in Austin before we'll even have a chance to see, probably half of it. So we're excited for
that. This guy is Dinosaur D's hype man. So we're gonna get to that Dinosaur D question. I think it's a great question. I want to step in here and I'll let Kevin jump into on this statement as far as when things are. I don't know if we can say back to normal, but not now. Why I've been a huge advocate of Austin and why I love Austin, not just because I sell real estate here, right? I make money off of people moving here. Let's not sugarcoat that. Kevin makes money off people moving here. But as somebody who spent years here before selling real estate, let me explain to you what I loved about real estate. I loved about Austin. South by Southwest is one of the greatest events on the planet. I have never met so many celebrities. I've never met just like randomly bumping into people. And you both have talked about that kind of like Austin feel where it's like, yeah, we're friends, let's just chat, whatever, no big deal, right? The friendliness. Imagine just being in a bar and you turn over and you see a Hoobastank, right? Like, oh, Hoobastank, cool. What's up, man? How are you guys doing? Hey, you guys want a beer? Are you good? All right, cool. What's going on? Right? 30 Seconds to Mars. Hey, 30 Seconds to Mars. What's up? How are you? Like the whole band, right? Just the most laid back atmosphere. 150 people watching some of the biggest Kanye. 150 people just watching Kanye, right? You may not like Kanye. I'm just making an example of big names, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine being in the most relaxed atmosphere and running into the biggest name people, and they're just like, hey, what's up? Yeah, this is fun. That is what I love about Austin. And I cannot emphasize this enough. And this is what kills me about what's happened in the last 2 years in Austin. Right? ACL is fun, right? ACL is great. It's really hyped, a lot of energy, lots going on. ACL is fun. But South by Southwest, there's just something to me, this vibe. At Formula One, when Formula One comes and you have all these people from Formula One coming in, I'm not a big Formula One person. I could care less. But when Formula One comes to town, it is the most fun thing happen. And that love, that energy you get is the most just, I can't even explain it. And for the last year to have this whole thing just kills me. So
yeah, go ahead. No, finish up.
No,
I interrupted
man,
you.
good.
I interrupted you. No.
That's all right. You get that green wall. Go for it.
This is Ian's wall, guys. This is because Ian's not here. I gave you the green wall. You asked.
Yeah.
I was jealous because Adi had a green wall, right?
Yeah.
And a great website. If you didn't go to his website, go check it out. It's really awesome. I actually lucked out because when Headwaters was first built, they did a promotion where if you went to the model homes, then you stamped the card and then the winner would get 2 full passes for South by Southwest. It poured that day. I'm pretty sure I dragged my kid there. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person that did it. And I won the full passes for South by Southwest. And it was one of the most incredible experiences literally ever, because it was over so many different days. And like each day you could decide what you wanted to do. And it wasn't just music. Like I got to go see Gary Vaynerchuk speak, and then also saw him out in the hallway, and he was an awesome guy. He's like, hey, get over here, let's take a picture together. He said that. I didn't say that. He said, hey, let's get a picture together. And then like that weekend we went out and watched some, same like Jeremy's saying, like we walk into this bar, it's like, hey, let's go see these folks. And we wanted to see Lil Yachty. Okay, don't give me a hard time, I like him. There were like 15 people in there, maybe 20. And then who comes up on stage? Cardi B in her long hair. And my wife's like, oh, that's Cardi B. I was like, I don't even know who that is, right? At that time, I didn't know who Cardi B is. So it's such an intimate scene. And that's what I'm totally with Jeremy. Like I've said this in so many streams before. I don't even think Austin's hit its stride. I think a lot of the things that had been going on for years, and then the growth happened and we haven't been able to do as much as we used to be able to do. When we can merge the growth, the development of where the city's going here in the future, and what I think is our evolving culture, I think this is going to be an incredible place. Can you imagine? We have creatives coming in from LA. We have intellectual tech folks coming in from the Bay Area and other places. And we've got Texans that are all here. Like, does it not get better than that?
Yeah, Kevin, you brought that up in a previous stream, and I could not agree with that more. I know that everybody's weirded out by the idea of people coming in and changing the culture, but let's be honest, most people that were leaving those other states are probably leaving for reasons that are only going to fortify culture, not disrupt that. And on top of that, culture is one of those things that you build. It doesn't just come, hey, you moved here, here's your culture, this is how it works. No. So I think that it's interesting to see where we're going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. But we all get to play a role in that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm super stoked about that, right? And this is part of the video that comes out on Saturday. We've talked on this channel. We had a lot of live streams, and I've had great people on here, like the two gentlemen that are still on here, 2 hours and 17 minutes, and Joel and Damien, 2 hours of their night sitting here answering questions for you about moving to Austin. They are in your shoes. If you're thinking about moving to Austin, they are in your shoes. But the thing about Austin and moving to Austin is that I think that there's going to be such huge potential for new companies to come in and create new technologies. We're going to see so many new pathways to the city. And that's what's exciting to me is that, yes, it sucks. The last year we've lost a lot of institutions to Texas, and that sucks. There's some really great companies that left. There's some really great small restaurants, mom and pop shops that are gone. But to see what comes in next is kind of exciting because I think we're going to see some new innovation. We're going to see some new people. We're going to see some new great restaurants. We're going to see some diversity in restaurants too, because one of the comments on here is about the fact that the barbecue and the Tex-Mex is good. I'm excited to see what else comes in. I'm excited to see Damien bring in some great French cuisine.
I actually wouldn't mind that. Come on, Damien.
Bring
No,
in
you're
That's
right.
up to the plate.
I mean, there's actually Justine is a very good place. Haven't had a chance, but I know a lot of French people living here in the network of French people living in Austin that told me only good things about this place. So,
what's the name of the place?
Justine.
Oh, Justine. Yeah. I've been there.
And it's supposed to be good, so I have to go check it out. But I agree with what Joel said, is that there's a lot of hate and Californians coming in, and we hear that all the time, right? But you have to think of, just including myself in there, is just that we come here with a positive view and positive energy, and we're super excited to come to Texas. We're choosing to come. We're super hyped, and it's not like we're forced to come here. We could go anywhere. It's just that I don't know. I think there's probably people coming here. I don't know if it's because they don't have a choice, but I don't really believe it. I think most of us, and the vast majority of us, come here super excited and meet people and get to know the culture. Like you said, Joel, I didn't know anything about Texas, to be honest. And every time I discover something, it could be food, music. My wife is listening to Stevie Ray Vaughan now. Like she's never heard it before, and I share that with her, and she loves it now. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. We're super, super happy to be here, and we want to share that experience. So give us tips, give us advices on how to know the city better and be better Austinites. But be aware that we're here to have a positive impact. We're not here to change Texas. We're not here to change the way you're living. We're here to actually embrace the way of how you guys living, because that's why we're coming here. So that's important to remind people,
And I appreciate that because there's, I hear from a lot of people different things, but the thing that's most important is, like, I tell people, before you come in to change Texas, come in and embrace Texas and listen. Take the opportunity to listen, right? Just be open-minded, right? Texas needs change for sure. Every state, every city, everywhere needs change, right? There's always opportunity for change. But before you come in and try to steamroll change, come in and listen and understand what is going on. That's my biggest thing. That's my biggest, investors stop calling me because I've railed against investors. The problem with investors is they don't understand what Austin is. They see it as a money tree. Austin is not a money tree. I don't want you to think Austin is a money tree. I want you to understand what Austin is and appreciate what Austin. I'm an investor. Kevin's an investor. We're investors. We invest in this city, but we invest the right way. And I'm not saying people that come in don't invest the right way. I'm just saying I want people to appreciate what they're buying, right? I want them to appreciate what they're getting into, because this is, I mean, we just spent the last like 15 minutes talking about the great things about Austin. I want people to understand how, like, I love this city. I've lived in San Diego. I've lived in Phoenix. I've lived in Central California. I've lived all over. And this is one of the cities that I just feel like I am home. And I don't want people to crap on it, right? When people got after me for making critiques on the guy who regretted moving to Austin, right? This guy is just crapping all over California. Look, I lived in California. I have every right to crap on California, right? So, but at the same time, if somebody's going to crap on Austin, I'm going to give you a fair assessment. And in that video, I was super fair. I talked about the things that are issues in Austin. I talked about where he was right. I talked about where he was wrong, and people still crapped on me. That's the most hated video I've had on all my videos. But you know what? It was one of the videos I was honest about. All my videos I'm honest, but this is one of the most honest videos I made. If you want to crap on me for being honest, bless your heart. All right, so Damien, rock on, man.
Rock on, Damien.
Love you. All right, folks, there we are. We are like 2 hours and 20 minutes in. If you have a last question for these two gentlemen who have spent the time, 2 hours and 23 minutes to be on this, Kevin, who jumped in late in the game, Ian, where the hell is Ian? Hold on, we're gonna search party for Ian. But gentlemen, what are your parting words for anyone looking to move to the Austin area? Let's go.
Go ahead,
parting words. Joel, you're on top, so you go first.
All right. Patience and due diligence. I'd imagine if you're going to go down the route of not building, and you're going to be playing the game of how high is too high, you're just going to have to do your due diligence and have patience and deal with the heartbreak that's going to come, because I've talked to several people already that went through that process even just a year ago, and I can only imagine it's only gotten worse now. So, come because you want to be here, and that you want to be part of a community, and try to leave as much of your baggage behind. That's the best way I could put it. Culture is built. And if you want to see that improve in the society, in the communities that you're living within, then you put in the work. If you just want to live in your house and hunker down and never come out of your hole, then that's your choice too. But for the culture issues or concerns, I would say, be a part of that community and come here to make things, to be a part of it, like Jeremy said first, and then figure out how you want to improve things.
Yeah, I agree with Joel. It's like leave behind a part of what you had before and come here with open eyes, and just look around and be patient too. And another advice I have for people that are in the same situation as I was a few months ago: don't be discouraged, because Jeremy, we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get this one, like 3 offers, we went over the top and we loved it so much, and in the end it didn't work out, but because there was something else waiting for us. And I know everybody says that, but I've been in those shoes, and just be patient. It will come, your turn will come, and you'll have your opportunity. So it's just, just keep your head focused and you'll be fine.
That's right.
You guys are awesome. One last question, gents, from Dinosaur D. Thank you, DD. Oh, I just put that together. He is the DD of the show, Dinosaur D. If you don't mind, can you comment on your budget? On your budgets have been affected moving to Austin. So is anything more expensive than you thought? Okay, let me finish reading the question before let me reread the question. God.
Do you want me to read the question? One last question.
Yeah.
Gents, if you don't mind, can you comment on how your budgets have been affected moving to Austin? Generally speaking. And this is true. I think, Dinosaur, are you talking about their home budgets or like living budgets?
I think to me, it feels like living expenses.
Yeah, living expenses. Yeah. Okay. Have you guys been affected at all? Have you had to, based on what you're making and what you're thinking, are you spending more here than you were previously?
Yeah, because I chose to do this remote thing and get outside the LA market, I actually had to take a pay cut to get out here. And so outside of that, the thing that I've seen right away, though, is that general living expenses are relatively the same, if not a little bit cheaper. But again, it's also a matter of I'm still renting. So ask me again in 6 to 8 months from now, and I'll have a better answer. But I think in general, from what I've seen, at least from the LA market, about 8% less, maybe overall. It's not drastic. And I mean, I'll know more in the future. We'll see.
What about you, Damien?
Yeah, and I was expecting, because I did a lot of research before moving, and there's some website that do cost of living comparison when you put a city in another city, and they do costliving.com, something like that. So you put like where you're from, where you're going, and it will tell you how much you need to keep the same level of quality of life, etc. And they were saying like, oh, Austin is about 30% less in terms of overall cost than California. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And when we arrived here, well, the house and the housing market, we talked about, it's another story, but for the rest, like utilities and everyday stuff and restaurants and shopping and stuff,
So,
I don't, 30%, no way. Maybe 2-3 years ago, but it's still cheaper for sure, but we're far from the 30%. So expect, you can live with less than if you were in a major city in California, obviously. But I think Austin is still quite an expensive city, and you have to be realistic about it. But so it was not a huge impact on my expense. We still pay a lot of stuff, but quality of living is way up. That's for sure. I mean, you're probably not be this much in terms of money, but in terms of quality of life and being outside and everything around you and people, it's definitely worth more than that just tiny difference of expense.
yeah, that's a great context to what Damien is saying.
I paid $22 for a margarita the other day, and I do regret that. That's the highest I didn't know either. I was just at a lobby bar and at the place I was staying during Snow Mageddon, and I just went downstairs and it was like I got the bill. It was like $22. Like, what was this?
Yeah,
I thought that was high.
I bought two margaritas at Chewy's, and it was like $28. I'm like, what the hell did I just buy? 2 more? What? This is Chewy's.
Oh, on another note, did you see that for some reason premium gas is sold out now?
Oh yeah.
What is that all about?
I think it has something to do with just
Uptick in demand.
Yeah. But that's another good reason why you should buy a Tesla. I mean,
I'm getting a Cybertruck, bro.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. In 2028. I'm
going to get the first one off the line.
Gas is cheaper. All right, folks. Hold on a second. Bastrop, Master Jedi, you're still here? Oh my goodness. Welcome back. Valerie says Jones Place. Okay. So there we go. We are, we're 2 hours and 30 minutes in. I told these guys 30 minutes. I lied. All right.
Just a little over.
Just a little over. So thank you all for joining. This has been a very fun event. Definitely drop more comments after this because Damien and Joel would love to come in on YouTube and answer your questions if you have them. So I really appreciate you guys. You guys have been on here a long time. Kevin, thanks for dropping in. Love y'all. We will see you on the next one. Have an amazing day.
See you guys.